Overwatch qualifiers done, dusted, and down the drain. We move to Valorant here on a very nice Sunday across the US and across the Midwest for our battle for the Midwest 6 Valorant qualifiers. More of a seeding qualifier than a direct qualification event, but nonetheless, teams are playing for a good spot at the LAN in just a bit of time. I'm Time to Late. Joined alongside me on the other side of me is Jackson 5K. Jackson, we start off with the University of Wisconsin-Madison UWxBHOP and the CGC University of Illinois Chicago Blaze. What are your thoughts on our first matchup and the event as a whole?
So both of these teams right now, while they haven't directly faced each other, University of Madison has faced against the CGC regular roster, in which the CGC registered roster were able to beat them out 2-1 in convincing fashion. Now, not exactly sure if the Blaze group will play some way similar to the initial roster. I assume so, right? Because they're in the same schools, they discuss the same strategy. So maybe Madison next B-Hop, they may have a game plan coming into this game.
Yeah, I'm looking at this series and honestly looking at this event as a whole and saying this is going to be a collegiate just battleground everywhere. We have teams from University of Madison, well, I suppose Wisconsin as a whole, teams from Illinois, a team from Indiana, I believe, if not two. I think there's Illinois Tech, Indiana Tech. There's a lot of tech schools and a lot of technicalities into this series and into this event as a whole. A lot of best of ones in front of us as well. We're start off with the University of Wisconsin x Madison, or University of Wisconsin Madison x B-Hop against the University of Illinois Chicago Blaze. We have two more best of ones down the line, but we'll get to those when we get to them. This first series, however, in a best of one, we usually try to avoid the stock standard maps. We weren't so lucky with that in this one.
Yeah, we're seeing Ascent, and Ascent has just been a staple map of all competitive Valorant. I mean, even without going into Agent Select, I could tell you already what the comps are probably going to be. It's just going to be KO, Sova, Killjoy, Omen, Jet. Pretty standard as it all comes out. And it all just comes down to see, when it comes to this, is who has the better execution, who has the better timing, better communication. So a lot of these teams, maybe B-Hop and Madison being a team that may have just formed for this tournament, perhaps their cohesion may not be as strong as, say, a secondary team like Blaze, but that we'll have to see.
I'm looking at all these ranks as well because I was curious. A lot of times with college events, you have some teams that are just radiant across the board that should be competing at CVAL this weekend or at Red Bull Campus Clutch events, and then other teams that are just gold players that happen to be put together because they all have to go to the same school and like to play Valorant every so often. I don't think these are either of those squads. You are going to see a fair few Radiant and Immortal squads, so keep an eye on these teams when maybe some other events for college come on down the line. But just to really quickly go through all the teams in the event, we have 8 of them as of right now. DuPage, Illinois Institute of Technology, UW-Madison UWxBHOP, the Competitive Gaming Club of the University of Illinois Chicago, the Competitive Gaming Club of the University of Illinois Chicago Blaze, the B team technically, Northwestern University, Indiana Tech, and Illinois Wesleyan. But in this one, as we said, it's CGC UIC Blaze up against UWxBHOP. We said it is Ascent for our first map, and oh my goodness, we are not seeing a Jet. I can't believe it.
Okay, well, actually, we are going to end up seeing a Jet, but that surprise pick there, it's a confidence pick. I mean, this man has his Twitch tag in his IGN and selecting the Phoenix pick, which is going to be a very curveball of a pick, if you'd say so, Dan.
Okay, I got to be honest. I looked up twitch.tv/Kiro, and there's a nothing page with 9 followers.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was lied to. I was baited. I feel ousted. Anyway, you were talking about it. We are also not going to see a KO, at least not hovered right now for the Blaze. And I'm a little surprised about that, to be completely honest with you. Not seeing an initiator at all on a map that just has a Oh, I lied. They are playing Sova. Sorry. Only seeing one initiator on a map that usually sees double is surprising, but they are fighting the attack, so it's not the most absurd thing.
Yeah, they may be just going for a very aggressive push. The strategy with Phoenix is always just to farm those ultimate orbs, get that run it back online as soon as you can so that you can just run in guns blazing. But while Phoenix does have a very strong flash to help them initiate, I wonder if not having that no command or 0 point to sort of counter the KJ utility is going to hurt them.
A lot of times you see KJ just flourish on a site that has no hindrance whatsoever. You'll see this a lot in more normal, larger maps, kind of like Sunset nowadays, depending on what the team composition is. A lot of it, however, on both Lotus and on Haven, if you see a Killjoy played, she's going to do well. There's nobody on the rush, especially on the B site. But here, considering there's no KO at all. I'm going to bring this up multiple times throughout the game. Apologies in advance, but it's kind of important. Not seeing a KO on a map that has had KO as a staple pick
Yeah.
for basically the entirety of its existence in the competitive pool, and
Yep.
having all 5 of its agents as a staple of its existence in the competitive pool is surprising to me. It may work. It may be the greatest decision I've ever seen. At that point, I will stop talking about it. However,
Yeah.
maybe not. So we'll see.
We'll have to see if Kiro can get these head taps with that Phoenix pick. We're going to see them start off hovering over towards that A site. The 4-stack with the spike there. But this one way is going to cause them a bit of trouble, Dan.
The other question is, what are they going to try and do around that A side? It seems like they want to try a little bit of a hesitant split. You have the Killjoy prepping themselves over towards tiles, but they are starting to progress. At least a shoulder has been seen already at that, but the swing doesn't do a whole lot. This is a problem, especially for this attacking side. The Blaze forced back, but no, a paranoia thrown through. They want to push it.
Yeah, but they're still sitting there in front of A main, haven't really worked up through that smoke. Even though the paranoia was invested, they don't push out of it. You do see the defense has already rotated towards the A side, but because of this disinformation, you might say, the defense is faking themselves out and rotating back towards B, and this may work out for CGC.
Ah, the beauty of cutting sound. Your opponents think that you've gone a different direction when instead you've just waited for a few extra seconds. The patience has paid off. A very vacant A site with only an Omen waiting in tree for them, and the rotation through mid has been cut off. This is a very important aspect of this round. A post plant being established, and the Killjoy has not been seen for the entirety of the round. They've made no noise in tree. They've made no indication that there is going to be a tree extension or a tree flank. And now at this point, you're going to see UWxBHOP have to walk all the way through and have in position. And there's Rockin waiting inside a tree and finding that kill. The same problem is it's still a 3v3. There hasn't been any definitive advantage created, and now with 3v2, leave it just to the Phoenix, now having to step up. Kiro will find one. A second from Hell, now trying to step outside of the smoke, and they'll do so before the turret sees them, but they'll miss the opportunity, and Logic will add reasoning and a shot to the head of Kiro, and give UWxBHOP this first round.
Oh man, Kiro almost with the hero play there. In that 1v3 scenario, finds 2 picks, and really had the opportunity to get that last kill onto Logic, but unfortunately, perhaps first round, pistol round, not warmed up yet, wasn't able to find the shots that Kiro needed to close the round out, and Logic able to swing around just in time to finish that off for the first round.
I mean, the fact that you still find 2 kills from Hell there, even with a Ghost in hand. Usually close range, you may not want that Ghost. Slower fire rate. The Classic has the right-click potential. And that spray can very well hit headshots. I've seen a clip on Sunset of a right-click killing 3 people with a single shot. It's nuts. It's a nuts weapon, and it's free. That's what makes it work. I hate this game. But you're also seeing a round where UWxBHOP had so many opportunities to take that, and yet didn't actually turn it into something flourishing. Flourishing? Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. They do, however, get a spike plant, so they may buy here. I don't know what the buy is looking like for them. Probably going to see SMGs, if not just upgraded pistols, but nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, and right now already it seems the pacing. Ooh, who gets a nice pick after that push out from mid? A very aggressive push. Onion will find a pick on B main. Echo finds yet another. So the weapons advantage working out very well for BHOP here.
Wow.
There goes that right click you were talking about, Dan.
Echo just walking through. Flash again, straight through. Doesn't know that the Omen has gone right by them, though. This is a 1v2. This is a reasonable round. Has a paranoia and a smoke, but no timing. Welcome to first-person shooters and their timing counterparts. Ends up costing the clutch opportunity. If Logic was being looked at, that could have been a round victory. But in the end, it's not. And it is back-to-back rounds for the UWxBHOP squad. Yeah,
UWxBHOP there, playing, understanding that CGC might be looking to play slow once again after that pistol round that they've just had. So we did see Echo just push out, just push out almost immediately mid there to get that first pick, and that allowed the rest of his teammates to just collapse on that tree position. And look at this, it's round 3. It's our Jet player who has the operator, Dan.
Already seeing that sniper out. And I have to say I'm a little surprised about this. Oh my goodness, it's working. UWxBHOP with the opening duel, and Hero pushing out in the mid though has some control, but who with 1 make it 2, make it a 3rd, just casually swinging onto Hero, no patience whatsoever, and honestly none needed at this juncture. Seems like patience only for the weak, it seems. Swing out, make it 4. 1v5 for Rockin. Their position seems to be known. Will they be sprayed through the wall? Updraft's available if they want to use it and try and jump over. They still have 3 bullets in the operator as well, and they now definitely have the position, and the ace is stolen. Rude by ThoughtLand, but UWxBHOP make it 3.
Hey, securing around, Dan. Securing around. That's all that was. And that operator buy may have seemed questionable on this bonus round, but that one weapon was able for them to convert that bonus round, giving them a 3-0 lead, which is pretty important on a map like Ascent. You are on your defensive half. It is a slightly defensive-sided map, so grabbing all the rounds that you can get and getting this momentum to snowball these rounds is super important.
Snowball potential always more important on a map like Ascent, especially on the defensive side, and especially when your opponents are playing with this surprising Phoenix pick. Swing with the operator, finds one. Echo avoids the flash and will find a second, and they're getting aggressive here. They're not wasting any time trying to get in. Good flash by Kiro, but they end up dying towards that fragment. Good utility usage with the Phoenix definitively in that position, and magically it's already a 4v1 in the span of 30 seconds. Make the round over. Yeah, why not? Close it out quickly. UWxBHOP make it 4 down.
Yeah, that round went exactly how we expected it to after UWxBHOP was able to convert that bonus round. But man, the heroics coming out from Echo, and Echo with that bank shot of a fragment grenade taking down Kiro there just to secure the round a little bit. Economy is completely in favor of UWxBHOP right now, so this is a must round win for CGC.
So, what changes for CGC UIC? Obviously, trying to find opening kills is probably a good start. Shutting down that operator in one way, shape, or form is probably a good follow-up if they can find it. But the other conversation point for them is trying to find any real estate control. Obviously, a little difficult when you're dying to an op from long range. Trying to take mid and you can't find it. Obviously, a difficult position. But the conversation is still there. What do you use for your utility? How do you use your smokes as you're trying to get in? 2 people have been seen by this null command, and oh my goodness, they're just running it in, and he's dead.
Yeah, moving a little bit earlier than the Owl Drone does cost the ultimate, and ThoughtLand is going to find 2 through that smoke right now, already bringing numbers in favor of UWxBHOP 5v3. Rest of the members of CGC are looking to fall back now to maybe perhaps explore other areas of the map. But as you mentioned, map control is pretty difficult for this composition right now.
Not having that KO, lack of information gathering, sure, you still have your Sova, but that's only a small amount, really just a recon bolt and an owl drone, and that can be quickly given away depending on how you use it early on in the round. Obviously, recon bolt re-establishes itself and regenerates, but nothing guaranteed. And doesn't seem like the Blaze squad knows exactly where they want to go. The operator just swung through mid and saw the killjoy, so they have to go in this direction. You don't want to have your head taken off from a distance. But 30 seconds, where do they go? If they go A, they have an Omen waiting for them. If they go B, they have to cross mid. And if they go C, they're not on the right map.
Yeah, and this is pretty precarious now. Only having that Sova, no recon dart for another 25 seconds. This is going to be a save, man.
10 seconds left.
I've never seen a save in a 3v5 after you lose the opening 2 picks like a minute prior.
Yeah. And I think even still, though, they're going to give up that 5th round in a row, but their economy is hurt right now. They need these 3 rifles.
Yeah, I don't hate the decision. I'm okay with the call to save, but the problem is you don't do anything to hinder UWxBHOP. At that point, you're looking at their economy. Let's take a look at it on the scoreboard. Everybody has 6,000 credits or more. And the total number of deaths across the entire team amounts to only 9.
Yeah.
In 5 rounds. That is less than 2 kills a round. That is not good.
Yeah, man. This time, CGC is looking to switch things up a little bit, perhaps hit that B side, but that's exactly where Who has set up the operator, and there's an Odin for them to deal with as well, Dan.
Odin sprays through. Rocket will avoid it for the time being. Second spray, they go through. Onions just narrowly missing the opportunity. I don't know how in the world Rocket's still at full HP. They're not. They're dead. Who is there with another operator? And, yeah, who cares? Apparently he does.
And honestly, I feel like there's just too much dry peeking on that operator. I mean, they've felt the presence of Who so many times already. There you go, another flank once again coming out from Who, just slowly pushing out with that operator, finding 2 quick picks already. But that dry swing with that KJ, this is where that KO hurts. That not having that KO does hurt. Eka will find the pick on the cross map, but no command, no flashpoint to drive off the operator. It's going to be a difficult task for CGC to push on this offense.
Ooh, the recon bolt's been avoided. Oh, it was until Echo walked right back into it. Apparently not caring. Flash is good. Echo would be forced back, but ThoughtLand not so much. A 2-for-1 trade, very evenly played on the A side. If you find a follow-up kill there for Hero, maybe it's a round where you can attempt a 1v3 with a post plant, but not the case. And again, it's a UWxBHOP round.
And I want to see, if you pick this Phoenix pick, I definitely want to see more Phoenix action coming out. I don't think there should be any scenario where your Sentinel is the one to swing the operator first and lose their life. I think Kuro needs to play that pseudo initiator for his team. Use those curveballs to drive back the operator so that they can rush onto the site.
I think the problem is you really can't set up the curveballs as well from a distance. Obviously, they're still going to land when you're far away, but not as well lined up. Spray through. Shock Dart being prepped. Onion misses the opportunity, though. Second one will be thrown. I wouldn't hate a swing from Kiro. I wouldn't hate them trying to get aggressive, and unfortunately, as soon as they do, away goes Onion, and out of harm's way, they will.
Yo, man, Logic just finds the shot onto Mojo. Echo finds another, but there we go. Kiro finds the pick onto Onion. Still, though, numbers advantage are in favor of UWxBHOP, and it's down to rocking 1v4 situation. Does have the Vandal in hand, but this is a tall task to ask.
I've seen crazy things. Unfortunately, to be the pessimist of the day, I don't believe this is going to be one of them. Who has already seen them? There's a flank being set up. Echo is there, and there's going to be a second player walking in. Paranoia will land as well. Rocket can't see a dang thing from any closer than 3 meters. And even if they lost that fight, well, it's Logic there from main, and Lamb was walking in from the far side of main as well. It just was not good. Multiple times over for CGC UIC. A lot of improvements required, and Onion has done a whole lot of nothing, because honestly, they really haven't had to.
Yeah, just getting out recon darts, finding information, using the Odin spray through onto B Garage, just to see if they can get a pick. But right now, it's really the difference between the two teams, I think, is a sense of cohesion and utility usage. As we get a tech pause, this gives me an opportunity to talk about this. One thing that I did notice on that last round was Kuro was in a forward position to try and swing off the curveball. And there was an hour drone that was being used by, I believe, the Silver player Takmi. However, the hour drone started back in the front entrance of B Garage. So it didn't really clear anything except that main angle from that main swing. Whereas if he were to start that hour drone a bit later, since Kuro had already taken the space, you can clear things like logs, you can clear lane, you can clear switch. That gives it an easier time for perhaps their Jet player to just smoke and dash in, Phoenix to hit that curveball out of there just to take up some more space. So perhaps it's just this utility usage that it's not cohesive enough right now.
Yeah, and more forward information would have been required. I understand the hesitancy of activating it further back so you could avoid the possible spray from the Odin. You didn't have to worry about what could have been a spray down through the wall that you couldn't have done anything about. But it's still a situation where you look at it and say, there needs to be something different. You need to force that Odin off the angle in some way, shape, or form. Here's the aggression. Kiro flash around. Second one as well. Lands onto both players, but they just back away. Tuck themselves in as the doors close, and down goes that null command. One found, but there is a doubled up trade. 2 separate Sheriff kills, and now the Blaze Storm blocked, only to find nothing as well. At this point, it's a 3v2. They will not be able to stabilize the core of the now downed KO, and a retake required, and a difficult one, but Mojo's on 1 singular point of health.
Yeah, but all of these Sheriff shots are landing from the side of CGC right now. The Tagme takes down Echo as well. So now it is a 3v2. Numbers are in favor of CGC, but they don't have the weaponry exactly to combat this. So we are going to see a swing now. Mojo with 1 HP and no fear finds a kill from Hell with the Stinger. A Tiger lockdown has been set, though, so it is going to force Onion back in this 1v3 scenario and should buy a lot of time on that spike, Dan.
100 HP, 100 bullets in the Odin as well. Had the time to reload, but didn't have the time to realize EP had gotten so far forward. Good call. Not using the Shrouded Step does not give away any sound cue. Patiently getting forward does not give them any information, and the smoke gives them a false sense of security. Good first round from the UIC Blaze squad, but unfortunately it leads them to a Brazil. 7-1 scoreline after 8. 7-1
scoreline, but you hope that they can carry this momentum off of that 1 round. And that 1 round honestly starts from the hands of Kuro. Even though they weren't able to land the shot, that aggression coming out from that Phoenix pick allowed the rest of his team to trade them out with just Sheriffs. I mean, once you've done enough damage, you've done 100 shots with that. A Sheriff shot is just 1 tap kill on the body, and that's exactly what CGC did on top of that. So we are going to see who once again aggressively push out, but they will get punished and traded out by Mojo. Echo to trade out as well, but this flank coming out from B main is just destroying the entire CGC team. Kuro finding themselves in the 1v3 now, only has 36 HP. We'll try to heal up with the flame wall. Curves ball through it, but unfortunately ends up flashing themselves. So we are going to see a double pinch coming out from the side on Logic to finish it up. Team Ace coming out from the side of UWxBHOP.
And there's not a whole lot you can do, unfortunately, there. If you are in that 1v3, you are on the other side of a wall, but there's a player sitting top catwalk. You've been detected by a recon bolt coming from the Owl drone. And more importantly, there's a shock dart being thrown in your general direction. And at that point, the round's basically over. It seemed just like UWBHOP wanted to hold W in. They all got aggressive, they all got in, and they all took very good levels of aggression. I liked the call, I liked the forward positioning, and honestly, I just liked the trade potential. They gave themselves so many opportunities to not only find frags, but if they didn't, give themselves and their teammates an opportunity to find the refrags if required.
Yeah. I mean, who made an aggressive play pushing out of mid there, but was immediately backed up by Echo. We saw the flank coming out from B Garage, and it wasn't a single player that was flanking. It was two players coming on that flank. So now we're going to see the early Hunter's Fury coming out just to try and push that operator off. Run it back invested as well by Kiro. They're going to push onto that B site. Logic will find a pick with the utility as Who takes down the run it back as well.
Press X simulator, it seems, and oh my goodness, Logic just spraying through the dark cover from a distance. Seems like spraying through two separate dark covers. EP will even fall, taking down the run it back, taking down the Phoenix themselves. A flash being prepped, Echo will walk straight in and actually die as the flash pops. This now becomes a potential round, but the problem is it's still a 2v4. The run it back didn't get anything. Takni has still been noted inside of the close corner of the B Garage. And even if they are swung, there could be a trade potential, but it may not matter. The Killjoy's getting aggressive, just not noting the fact that Rockin could still be there. But even with the spray going through, there's no easy potential for Onion to still win this fight. They've been caught by the shock dart. Their position, again, still noted on either side. The recon should be solidifying that information they need. The spray should find the kill as well, and it's Who with the operator to leave a 1v3 and a flanked Rockin. You win the first fight? Oh, yes, you do.
Oh,
but the spike is down in front of you. And yeah, this is bad.
You have a two-player angle right now, and you have to push against this operator. Rock is going to have to hit some crazy shots right now, but unfortunately slow peaks the angle that Who has already hard scoped on. And that's going to be 9 on the board for UWxBHOP.
Imagine hard scoping in Valorant. Not a real Call of Duty player. That's all I have to say. 9-1, though, for UWBHOP. And it seems like 2 separate players have been the driving force of this. Actually, I'm going to say 3 for the utility conversation alone. Even though Thoughtlam is 6-6, I think their utility has been well far and above their current KD has shown their efficacy. That in combination with Who and Echo just finding 14 kills apiece. One in the Jet, who's been about as clean as you like, minus the singular round they've lost with the Bladestorm and Operator. And well, the operator, period, looking as good as anyone could hope for in a map like this. Combined that alongside what has been an amazing KO to play around, good utility usage, good information gathering with the 0 point, and good fragment usage, already finding a kill with it, which doesn't usually find a kill, to say the very least.
Yeah.
You see a very cohesive roster on the UWBHOP squad.
Yeah, very... It's like a well-oiled machine coming out from UWBHOP right now. And I'm sensing a little bit of hesitation coming out from CGC. I understand it is a 9-1, but I feel like the way that they're placed together, they started that early Hunter's Fury, and then honestly, they had a chance to turn that around back into their favor. It was just unfortunate that Sova was stuck with the spike in that far corner, and Sova has no utility to escape there, and that just kind of caught them stuck into that B main area.
Final 2 rounds of the half, and a less than ideal buy here for the Blaze. They are saving enough to buy next round, regardless of the outcome of this one, so they give themselves an arguable opportunity. They give themselves a shot, and that's what they need. A good shot. The problem is they're running onto a site that has been split very evenly by UWBHOP. They have 2 players setting up through mid. Spray from Who misses. They do, however, tuck into the corner, and they have a shorty to work with. They also have Echo for support. A spray through the wall. 2 separate headshots. One of them through the wall itself, and oh my goodness, Who is just a distracting factor finding one, forcing that dash away by May, and it's gonna matter. Jump over top. There's the shorty. There's the kill, and a flawless 10th round victory for UWBHOP. About as clean as you like.
Last round before the switch.
They nerfed the shorty? Really? Doesn't seem like it.
Nah, no, they didn't.
Yeah, now it's another beautiful buddy system play coming out from Echo and Who. It seems like anytime Who wants to get aggressive, Echo is right there. He said, yep, you got it, buddy. I'll be there just in case you need help. And that's what you see. The 16 kills coming out from both of these players has just been so hard for CGC to deal with.
Gotta say, I'm a little surprised at how that went, how the round itself went, because both players were stacking up around that long position. It was who that was alone around short, yet they still ended up winning that fight. Ended up winning another one onto Kiro there after dropping down the bot as well. Overall, decent trade. Jet for a little less than ideal Phoenix, but you take away the Jet. You take away one of your 2 top fraggers.
Yeah, but you look at this, another trap play being set here in that cap position between Who and Thought Lamb. They do check the corner, be able to find that and get the headshot onto Lamb. Perfect timing too, as Echo had to fall off the angle to cover that A main area, so it should buy a lot of space for CGC. But are they gonna take it?
Seems like they want to take out main, but no, as soon as Rockin starts to walk out, they end up getting caught by Echo. He's dropped onto the site as well. Perfect flash, finds 2 separate players, wants to throw another end will, but has to reswing the backside of his generator and has support from heaven. No command now popped. His last round of the half, might as well use it before you lose it. And he'll switch to the Sheriff. He cannot find the kill though. Logic, however, steps up to help and will stabilize the core, making sure his fallen comrade does not actually die in the KD conversation.
Yeah.
And UWxBHOP seemingly never die in the first half. They go 11-1 up.
Man, and that I think shows the hesitation coming out from CGC. I mean, Rockin there on that A main angle. You've taken out the Jet, you've taken out Thought Lamb, and the players who are walking up Cat saw Echo. So that's already 3 of the defensive members accounted for. If I'm Rockin, I'm hard Wing onto that A site just to take that position. And that hesitation allowed Echo to just play in the area that I love to call KO's playground, double dice. Allowed Echo to just go there, pop flash on either side of the dice, and just clean up the rest of the team on his own.
Gotta say, KO's just a better agent than Phoenix is. That's all I'm saying. 0 Point is arguably better than the wall. The hot hands are just abysmal. I'm not gonna be around the bush on that one. Oh, Mojo swinging that one, surprisingly enough, and kills Logic, but Thought Lamb there for the retake of that position at least, and uses the paranoia to get it. Good utility usage, at least with the pistol round. And Who has walked through Catwalk because they can, and has found an opening kill because what would you expect otherwise? In the meantime, they're running onto the B site, and a headshot landed by the right click of the Classic, but not enough to do lethal damage. And to make matters worse, Kiro's position has been noted. This is bad.
Yeah, they know exactly where he is, and he's got so much ground to cover before he can even sniff the spike.
Take the ghost.
Yeah, might just have to at this point, even though it's not the great play. But look at this, already triple swing gonna come out. We're not gonna talk about that. It was, just lag. We'll blame it on lag.
Match point.
It was Who just with proper Keanu Reeves moves.
Yeah, who was
kills.
there? I didn't even see.
Exactly. It was a ghost. You were fighting your imagination. Echo and Who, by the way, have a combined 40 frags in 13 rounds, which is nuts. Those 2 players have more kills combined than any 4 you would put together.
That's a crazy stat. So we're going to see them trying to push that A main aggression once again. Paranoia going to come out from the side of the defense. Bakira's going to get forced back by that recon dart. They will try to curveball out. I think that's a beautiful play. Great force as well, but Echo is there to cover for the trade frag, taking down Kiro. That's not bad. They took down the smokes for a Phoenix. I'd say that's a win.
Yeah, you are more than happy with that if you are on this Blaze side. Shuffling out weapons, making sure that the Bulldog is thrown out and cannot be recovered by the Blaze squad. Understandable investment here, by the way, by CGC UIC Blaze, making sure that if you're going to lose this round, it's going to be with as much as you could have bought up against map and match point. 4 players now stacking up outside A main. Perfect flash, though. There's the KO supremacy. That's why he's picked in seemingly every single composition that sees Ascent. CGC UIC, well, their map lies on the shoulders of Rocket, who needs to retake with a stinger and absolutely no utility while down 11 rounds. Do they get cleared out of the tree position? Luckily, as of right now, no. They have slipped a gap. They've found an opening. Question remains, how many kills or how much potential will they find? Turret will see them, their position duly noted, and everybody will start to converge on said position. How long will they stay alive? That's the real question. Unfortunately, Who has been flashed by their teammate. There's the downfall of KO. There won't be all that many. Onion will find the final kill, and magically enough, UWxBHOP walk away with a Teen 1 first map victory in Ascent. That was about as clean of a best of 1 as anybody could hope for.
It's a very dominant showing coming out from UWxBHOP. And we didn't really get to see that Phoenix in action on defense as much as we would have liked, but I did see some good things coming out. They selected the Phoenix pick. They knew that they had to be aggressive on attack, but when you're running a double duelist composition, you also have to be aggressive on defense as well, which we did see them try to get aggressive on that first pistol round. The only difference between their aggression and the aggression coming out from UWBHOP was when UWBHOP aggresses one part of the map, the rest of the team is also aggressing the other part for a flank. And we did not see that coming out from the side of CGC. Instead, they were rotating and allowed Who to just sneak up into tree and get a free kill from backstabbing the Silva. So if there's anything to work on with that defense from that one round, I think it's just if one side of the maps is going to get aggressive, you want to be able to cover the other side with the other part of the team.
We were talking about the 8 teams that are taking part in this event. I also have the groups sitting in front of me. CGC UIC Blaze and UWxBHOP are in Group B. They are joined by Northwestern and the College of DuPage, so keep that in mind down the line for seeding conversations. In Group A, it is the normal CGC UIC roster that has beaten UWxBHOP in prior matches, alongside Indiana Tech, the Illinois Institute of Technology, and Illinois Wesleyan University. So everybody from Illinois or the general vicinity thereof towards the western side of Indiana, and then everybody else is all scattered around the Midwest United States. That's it for our first match. Ascent surprisingly goes to the team that picked the normal composition on it. KO is just a better agent. The point is now moot. Thank you very much for coming to our TED Talk and to our first match of play. We still have 2 more to come. Stick around. We'll be back in a little bit. First of 3 games done, dusted, and down the drain. Our stats from them soon to come. I'm time to late. Joined alongside me still is Jackson 5K, and Indiana Tech now take on Illinois Wesleyan. But to break down what was a we'll say short first map. Yeah, I think that tells the story. Top fragger with 23 kills in a 14-round game. I think is more than descriptive of how the game went.
And also, there was our second top fragger on that team, also with 20 plus kills on that as well. So Echo and Who definitely carving out themselves in the conversation for players to watch for in these upcoming tournaments.
Well, to at least make that one a little bit brief, considering the map was as a whole, everybody on the team had above a 1.0 KD, other than Onion, because Onion was playing the B site, and the only time they went to B was when Onion was caught out with a lot of utility. Not entirely their fault. But now to move on. Illinois Wesleyan take on Indiana Tech. Now, Illinois Wesleyan has already played CGC UIC, the main team. They have lost against CGC UIC, the main team. Indiana Tech's first game was against the Illinois Institute of Technology, who has forfeited all of their games. So, this will be not only Illinois Wesleyan's last game of this group, but Indiana Tech's first, technically.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see. I wonder why the other team decided to forfeit. But this may be a way of Indiana Tech not really having a warm-up to come into this. I mean, Wesleyan was able to play a game first, so they have, their mechanics ready. Their hands are not cold. Has some mistakes to go over to come into this next game. Whereas Indiana Tech is just going to be coming in cold. I mean, they were already having to come in cold to this tournament because it always just the best of one for everyone, but now you're playing against a team that's been warmed up.
Yeah, some results from Group B, where we just came from. Again, UWxBHOP just dominated CGC UIC Blaze 13-1 on Ascent, and the College of DuPage has just beaten Northwestern University as well. So we'll keep an eye on that group. We'll actually circle back to that group for our last game of the day, but for the time being, we'll stick around in Group A. I gotta say, I'm actually really happy with how this map may very well go. Indiana Tech has looked like a good team because of previous events they've played. Really previous maps they've played in this event. And Illinois Wesleyan, I mean, the fact that you take on CGC UIC, maybe not the greatest of situations. Spoiler alert, we're going to Ascent again.
Whoa.
Best of ones so much. We're going to Ascent again. And we're going to see Illinois Wesleyan start the defense and bring an Astra. I bet you any money right now, Indiana Tech win the game.
Yeah, but there is a little bit of a change too on Indiana Tech. They're bringing a Raze instead of the Jet now. In a lot of, I guess you could say, competitive queue, solo queuing, we do see Razes come out on Ascent. It is playable, but not having those extra smokes coming out from the Jet may hurt. But look at the Wesleyan comp right now. It's throwing everything out the window in terms of meta. We're seeing the Sky come out, the Sky Fade being the other double duelist that we have not seen on this map since its inception.
Okay, so can I send a PSA to all the collegiate teams? There's a composition on Ascent. Everybody knows, everybody loves, and everybody has that it works. We saw it in the previous map. It is Jet for your single duelist, which there should only be one ever on Ascent. Double Initiator with Sova KO, Controller Omen, and Sentinel as your Killjoy. Basically, Indiana Tech minus Raze plus Jet. I don't know what the heck's going on at Illinois Wesleyan. Double Initiator's still there, but the Fade was played for like 2 months on Ascent, and then everybody realized, she's not that great. The Nightfall is not as good as it originally was thought to be. Yep. And the Prowlers are mid. But I don't know. I don't know. This is gonna be a weird game.
Sova dominance on this map is just incredible. Had cross map Hunter's Furies, especially to counter the KJ ultimate, the lockdown. So that might actually end up hurting Wesleyan a little bit, not being able to counter any of the lockdowns coming out from Indiana Tech. So, but hey, damn, we asked for something different on Ascent. We got something very different on Ascent.
We're not getting a different map, so we might as well get different compositions for the same map, I guess. Some level of variety is being brought as we'll move into our game. Indiana Tech will start on the attacking side. Illinois Wesleyan will start on towards that defense. Okay, I need to have a conversation about this. The ultimate economy changes. I don't like that the lockdown takes 9 ultimate orbs. I don't. I want it to be 8. I think the ceiling for any amount of ultimate orbs should be 8, and it should only be like 2 or 3. I think arguably half of the ones that we see here should only be 7. Like Null Command.
Yeah.
Why is that behind 8 alt orbs?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they wanted the game to be a little bit more gunplay, right? So having that Null Command to just shut all abilities down would do that. But as we see now, Indiana Tech has worked up onto mid, a very, very different type of pacing that we've seen. We actually didn't see mid being hit at all in the previous map.
No, it was very rarely a point of contention. It was basically just attempted to be used for a few splits, but it didn't work in the end. Indiana Tech will proactively swing the turrets, take it out, and force a little bit of a rotation over. 2 players walking in through mid, and they use the set of paint shells to gain that control. The B site is virtually undefended. There's a smoke between the Killjoy and the site itself. This will be a full 5v5 retake.
Yeah, very good utility and timing coming out from the side of Indiana Tech there to get that mid B cross, as well as doing a blast back in the smoke just to warrant Eddie pushes coming out. But William Afton will swing immediately, taking out Drago.
1 found, but still more to find. Spike is down, so timing now favors the attack, but still a 2 for 2, now 3 for 2 overall trade. Indiana Tech has 3 very low players though, and it's just down to Tiny Spider in a 1 versus 3. Shots required. First one lands, the other 2 players, one shot, the other 2 shot. The right click from close range, they actually go for the full spray, and they'll have the 1v1. No noise made, noise cut, but they walk around with their knife out. It would have been a 4K for either player, but it's Cavalier to walk away with the round, and Indiana Tech to get lucky in the pistol.
Lucky is an understatement. I mean, that was almost a throw round coming out, Dan. I mean, 3v1, and somehow we saw 3 1v1s coming out for Tiny Spider, and he almost clutched it out there. I mean, I wouldn't even say it was a clutch. I would say Indiana Tech almost threw that, but luckily, Cavalier there was able to find the timing on Tiny Spider with the knife out just to win out that pistol round.
Was it a clutch? Was it the extent of a not throw? I mean, it was a 4K, so still pretty good overall in the round. It was just concerning for Indiana Tech's attack. I liked the setup, though. Credit where credit is due. That was an amazing opening to get into B. Good split to mid, take out control, good smoke to CT. They crossed all their T's, dotted all their I's, and checked all their boxes. It was a very good take. The post plant could be a little bit better, though.
Yeah. Just pistol round shenanigans, but Drago getting that first pick onto Ganyu right now, opening up that tree area. Does have the Vandal in hand, and they've got to be careful here because he's been left alone. So if he loses this Vandal, this could be a big swing into the favor of Wesleyan there, as we see, yep, Vandal dropped. Luckily, Simply there from main with that pinch to find 2. But William Afton is just making quick work of this classic.
This now becomes a reasonable round. Both players should have recovered a rifle at this point. If they haven't, they will in the next few seconds. And there will be a retake onto B if they decide to go for it. I honestly wouldn't blame them, though, if they decide to save. You've already done some economic damage to Indiana Tech. You have some rifles to carry over into the next round. Spike plant, look at the map, see where they go. The answer, yeah, it's a save.
Yeah, they should be able to recover 1 Bulldog and 1 Vandal. William Afton only has 48 HP here, so yeah. Good swap there since the Fade does have that full HP as they're going to try and retake this 2v3.
Go. I thought they were going to save. Turns out they were just biding their time and maybe delaying a little bit. The benefit is, even if they don't win this, they could take the time away for all these players to die to the spike anyway. And it comes down to how they can build that off of utility. Good recon bolt, good alarm bot setup, and now it's a 1v3 left over for William Afton. And only a headshot found onto the Sova, no extra damage or kills past that. And Bacon finds both with the Guardian, and they walk away with a round victory, and all 3 of those aforementioned players stay alive in the end.
Yeah, I think your call to save there was a good call in my opinion, but also the other thing that they could have done was try and play exits. You don't necessarily need to win this round here. Yeah. If you do a lot of economical damage to their bonus, you force them to have to reinvest into this next round. So they were able to carry over 3 ARs, so that's going to be pretty strong for Indiana Tech's bonus round.
Still opportunities to build, though. Still a way back in for Illinois Wesleyan. Anti-bonus could very well go their way, and this is looking like a completely different game. They say baby steps are required. Somebody needs to take their first step on the Illinois Wesleyan side. I thought the pistol round was going to be theirs, but ends up not being so. Ganyu sees 1, but doesn't know the extent of how many people are here. Good utility combination, but not exactly coordinated in the end. Ganyu will survive, but only with 40 HP remaining. Pretty good utility coordination, even without finding that kill.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage taken down from Ganyu. We'll have to fall back there, but look at this map control that Indiana Tech has. Still has somebody watching mid. Still has somebody lurking onto B main. Yeah, never mind about that person watching mid. Great shot from William Afton.
Torino quickly dispatched of, and there's 4 people stacked on this A side. This is the correct decision for Illinois Wesleyan, but how much do they walk away with? Swing through, but caught by the haunt beforehand. A second player seen as Draogo will fall, and it's simply, and Bacon, maybe not so simply going to walk away with the Bacon of the round. That's a bad one. But Indiana Tech in a 2v5. They are walking onto a fairly undefended B site, though. This gives them at least an arguable opportunity at getting a post plant.
Yeah, still having the smokes online, still having that KJ utility alarm bot turret as well to try and hold this. And they do have 1 rifle left, so they are able to do some damage still onto this bonus round of theirs. But it is going to be a 5v2 coming out for Wesleyan.
Ooh, they almost denied that plant. Haunt will go through. Both players are seen, though, so in the end, it's still information gathering for the defensive side. They'll fully retake. Everybody walking in, and yeah, that's curtains, to say the very least. Illinois Wesleyan will swarm the site with all 5 rifles they had prior, and they'll win the round fairly handedly. That's an important anti-bonus round, cleanly walking away. Everybody stays alive. This will be a full rifle round in our next.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly what you need if you want to tie this up for Wesleyan here. Quite a bit different from what we saw last map. We are going to see a more even gunfight now, and so far it seems that both of these teams, in my opinion, look evenly matched. The strategies coming out from the side of Indiana Tech have been very good and well executed. And we do see some heroic shooting coming out from William Afton as well on the other side.
So what's the alteration for Indiana Tech? Now that everybody has their rifle of choice, everybody has a way back in. There is some concessions taken in terms of shields. Should they lose this round, 2 separate players have half shields instead of full shields. And they were just raw swinging B main off the back of some utility. Very little, I suppose it was just a smoke for some recuperation if they needed it. But they have forced out a lot from this defensive side. A decent bit through mid, a C's was just thrown in garage. All in all, you're happy with the early engagements.
Absolutely. And it looks like they're going to do a mid to A hit right now, which is where Simply has set up, but still has not found many information. William hears the flash, just has to try and time the swing right now.
Swings in, swings well, but Jorino still predicting it. Will turn properly and deny any frag that could have come from it. Guanyu, sitting inside of this smoke, somehow doesn't die to the paint shells next to them and will fall back just for the regrowth to land on towards them. The difficult position now for Illinois Wesleyan is getting in off the back of very limited utility they have left over, and they've already lost 1 player in doing so. 0 point will go off, we'll find all 3 players in heaven. That should guarantee that people are there, but Jorino has retaken this hell position. Even with their teammate now falling, this becomes a reasonable round for Illinois Wesleyan to walk away with, especially with the Seekers being dedicated. 1 player seen hell, the other on the backside of Generator, and Bacon already stepping up from A main for that kill. The reswing from Generator doesn't find anything, but Jorino will step up for 1, Bacon their second to the round, and Indiana Tech walk away with their 3rd.
Yeah, that was a beautiful post-plant positioning coming out from Indiana Tech there. Having 2 players on Gen, that can, one of them can rotate to hell, and still keeping 1 for the crossfire onto that A main angle. That basically countered the entirety of that Seekers, as well as simply throwing a paranoia to delay any of the push coming out of that Seekers. That really helped Indiana Tech secure the round there.
Timeout called. An early one, but I suppose you get 1 per half. Might as well take advantage of it when you think you need it. I've seen worse timeouts called, let's put it that way. And looking at the buy, at least the hesitant one that they're setting up right now, I saw a Stinger on 1 player. We see a Phantom on the Killjoy already. Is that Killjoy named Phantom?
Yes.
Is that the first time I'm realizing that? That is it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I was about to say the Killjoy of, and then I saw the name Phantom, and I was like, wait, what? Killjoy of Phantom has bought a Phantom. It would be really ironic if they exclusively bought Vandals, but they don't. No hilarity ensues there. But it does seem like they are going to have a buy minus a Stinger maybe on their fade. Could be worse, but it could be much better considering they're probably going to have to take some utility concessions as well.
Yeah, and I think if you are Wesleyan, I feel like on this eco round, you may want to switch the pace a little bit to see if you can get an aggressive push, perhaps isolate a rifle and convert it for your team. But, oh, never mind. Doesn't really look like much of an eco round. We're going to see mostly a full rifle round coming out from the side of Wesleyan, other than Yuri on that fade.
So we're going to buy a Stinger. Turns out it is the Spectre. Null Command used early as everything on this B side. They are trying to dedicate that, or they're trying a fake. Instead, they're going to split, actually. I like this decision. You're going to split from the mid side, gain that control already, and leave your Sova there. Keep it on the Sova for later stages of the round. Drago already falls. That's a problem for this post plant, considering your Raze falling early does not help your case in any way, shape, or form. But Jarino patiently waiting here. Here's that concern I was talking about earlier. Walking through mid with their knife out as William Afton, but not predicting a second player. Jarino will only end up finding one in the end. And it still remains a 2v2, a reasonable round for them to pick up. But both players currently occupy that CT side. Paint Shells will force one of them back, but the second one should not be noted until they swing in for both. Ganyu finding each frag, the spray down for one another, and the 3k in the round. Just barely enough time on the spike as well. Actually, more than enough spike to say the very least. And Illinois Wesleyan, good timeout, good round, and just a 1-round deficit at that.
Very, very hectic post plant there, as we did see Jarino in a key position to get that flank pick, but unfortunately was not expecting a second one. Ganyu there to trade out, and Ganyu eventually being the one to win out the round. And all of that was done perfectly. I mean, the paint shells there forcing the rest of the members into that CT area, and a flash coming out from Tiny Spider just allows Ganyu to clean up with the Vandal spray there. And there was one round away from tying this up. And look at this. This is going to be an anti-eco round coming out for the side of Wesleyan.
Sheriffs only, but Sheriffs can do crazy things in the world of collegiate. Flash combined with paint shells should do a decent bit of damage. And I mean, nothing really terrible, but the Raze, what, 22 health? Yeah, that's all they have left over. And you've already lost your opening frag around towards B. That Fade, who only had an SMG in the previous round, already has a rifle and a kill off the back of it.
But Ganyu now continue the momentum from the previous round, and Yuri, hello, simply they're getting a free pick onto Yuri just to try and thin the numbers a little bit, but still the numbers advantage are in favor of Wesleyan, as they're going to try and work through this mid area.
Told you, Sheriffs are a scary subject in the collegiate scene. But the problem is they're still down a player, and they have to clear out Catwalk, where there's just an Astra patiently waiting for them. Good swing from William Afton, finds one, but is stuck on 40 HP. Wants to swing off the back of utility, but ends up over-dedicating themselves to the aforementioned utility, and is caught out because of it. The problem still remains here for Simply. It's a 1v3. They have From the Shadows, they have the spike attainable inside of Catwalk, but they haven't actually grabbed it. Could be a bait, could be a later round setup, but they don't have a good bit of utility, because there's only a Spectre or a Judge for them to work with in terms of primary weaponry. Here's the From the Shadows. There's no way they don't go B, right? Yeah, he wanted the right.
Gonna try and go B, and I think out of the weapons that are available to him, I think the Judge is probably his best bet at this point in the 1v3. Dark Cloud just to get the plant down, should be able to play inside of it with the Judge, but wow, the Molly Swarm Grenade perfectly placed to push Simply out of there. Now 35 HP. 1v3, has the Judge in hand. Can he do this?
Not gonna be easy by any means. Already using both smokes, and oh my goodness, timing. Phantom with the Phantom through the smoke, like a Phantom.
Yeah,
Finds a third round.
That round started looking a little bit costly, but eventually able to close out that anti-eco, only losing 2 there, and Wesleyan finally able to tie it up.
Drawing it. That early timeout ends up paying off in dividends, and honestly, they've been really good since calling that timeout. They had a good anti-bonus round, but after rifles were picked up for Indiana Tech, it looked less than ideal on the defensive side. But since then, they've looked clean. They've had good fight calls, they've made sure they trade off each other well, and good utility usage, which is what we were seeing from Indiana Tech to start things off.
Yeah, and now we are going to see Yuri still opting to keep that Spectre. He's been an eco-weapon demon, finding a kill every round with those eco-weapons. So he's just going to continue to carry that Spectre over to help the economy a little bit. Drago now does have the Showstopper online. Let's see if they're going to try and invest it in this round.
Wouldn't blame them. They do only have one blast pack, so you're not going to see any acrobatic Showstopper calls, at least not early in this round. And it's a fairly laissez-faire defensive setup on this B site. No one home, at least on the site itself. 3 players are in the general vicinity of CT, but honestly, nothing really based off of that. And there's a Showstopper, only to find not a soul on B.
Yeah.
Illinois Wesleyan will go for a full 5v5 retake again.
And this is where not having that Sova may hurt them just a little bit. They have to fall back so far off of that lockdown. This gives Indiana Tech a lot of control. Luckily for Wesleyan, though, the showstopper is offline now, as William Matthews is going to swing into 2 and get taken out immediately. Bacon finds 1 as well. Oh, the Phantom through the smoke finds Drago.
What's the Fade doing? Swing from main is Ganyu. Actually does find a kill onto Jorino, and a second player was seen there, so they're going to use that Nightfall. One player definitively noted inside of the garage, the swing off the Paranoia, but the Paranoia misses. And there's that second Prowler going through off the back of the aforementioned Nightfall. It ends up landing onto Bacon because they were preoccupied with the other fight. The question is, what's the timing on the spike? It'll end up being ever so close when it comes down to it. And it's 0.3 of a second the difference between Illinois Wesleyan's lead or now the deficit they once more face.
Wow, Indiana Tech winning that round by a hair. I mean, 0.31. That's just a matter of, I feel like if you told Yuri when Yuri swung, when you were questioning him, I think they would have won that round.
And you feel bad because the Nightfall was actually being prepped earlier by Yuri. It would have had enough in the earlier stages of the round to not only find the information, but allow them to swing quickly enough. But the fact that they delay that a little bit just for everybody to end up dying around them, it ends up costing them more than it ends up helping them. And that hesitancy hurts Illinois Wesleyan.
Oh, I like this aiming, guiding light there just to put their raise into that wine position, set up the trap play. We're going to see Indiana Tech try to run through, and this is an eco round coming out from the side of Wesleyan, so this trap play may just work. Shock dart to try and sniff out Ganyu, but Ganyu does his swing. Still, only 50 HP left. Do they clear him?
No. Nobody's clearing this whatsoever, and the Omen's gonna have absolutely no idea. They have no flank utility, they have nothing to worry about this position, but it's only a Spectre. 1 kill found, a second from Tiny Spider, and Ganyu will step up to the 2 they needed. But again, it leaves it in just a 2v2 scenario. Illinois Wesleyan once more will have to retake on this A site, and once more with a man equalization. But the problem still remains for Indiana Tech is setting yourself up outside of the site. They didn't have difficulties with that back on the B site the previous round, but they will here, and to make matters worse, there's a lockdown to force them to have to do so. Hunter's Fury is available, but as soon as they use it, everybody's gonna have to swing, and they do! Jorino will shut down that lockdown, but no, they don't get the opportunity, and Yuri alone will put it forward. The lockdown seems to be just the bait, and Illinois Wesleyan will tie it up.
A thrifty round coming out from Wesleyan on a big brain play there, just baiting the Hunter's Fury, knowing that they were unable to kill anybody swinging off of that. I would think that was just perfectly played by Yuri and Phantom there.
Basically could not have been better. And even if the lockdown does get destroyed there, Hunter's Fury was still forced out. And you end up walking in having a very distracted Sova. And to make matters worse, the lockdown now requires 3 separate shots from the Hunter's Fury to take down, rather than just 2, what it used to be. I think it's 200 HP now. Anyway, it's so difficult, and makes things difficult for the Indiana Tech side, who was trying to get aggressive. Good guiding light. That'll fight 3 players in mid. And with everybody swinging this, do they swing the close corner? No, not even trying to clear it. But oh my god, William Matthews only finds 1 there.
Yeah, the running gun so strong there from Drago, but Phantom able to trade out to keep the numbers in their favor. Do have control of the rifles as well, so they're not going to allow Indiana Tech to get any free conversions.
What do you do here if you're Indiana Tech? Do you just rush a site, try and base it around whatever utility you have left over? Because I believe, it's a Ghost, a Marshal, and whatever is on that 3rd player that's currently walking up A main. Yeah. Not a whole lot, to say the very least. And there's that recon bolt that'll go towards the backside of mid, only to find nobody.
Yeah, I think you do try to rush a site here, see if you can get any picks or bait Wesleyan into using an ultimate. Ganyu's gonna get spotted out, but so far bullets have been traded, but no lives have been taken. 0 point as well, just to find more information that they already knew. But the plant will go down, and they will be able to have this crossfire now, Dan.
2 players stacked up in hell as well makes things possibly difficult. Haunt will be destroyed, no extra information gathered other than just the player on the backside of the generator. And with both players stacked up in hell, it's 1 for each side. But it's now the 2v2, another retake scenario based off around it. But the C's has landed, and that's all the information they may very well need. Jorino noted on the backside of the triple box, but still wins that first fight, and will reposition to the backside of hell. Will tuck themselves in, maybe predicting the last players in the backside of generator. Phantom, their alarm bot will guarantee that's not the case, and they look to now stick the spike down. Those don't fake. Apparently, neither do college students, as Phantom will lock in the round just narrowly enough. And find the final kill they were looking for.
A little footsies action coming out from Phantom there, and these eco rounds are going so much closer than I am comfortable with. I mean, it should not have gone down to a 1v1 in that scenario.
Shouldn't have, but it did. And that's a narrow round for Indiana Tech to, well, lose. But
No.
they probably, I mean, based off of any gambler's mind, should have picked up. They just committed, and it worked. Oh,
Now, we are going to see a stack coming towards that B side right now, switching up that KJ utility. So let's see if Indiana Tech is aware of this. Null command being used to push Wesleyan back, but Drago won't need it. Finds the pick onto Yuri as well to bring the numbers in their favor. Our drone gets destroyed. There's going to be a trap play set up here on Logs. William Afton with the trigger discipline, allowing the rest of his team to clear it out. But now it's a 2v2.
That's another 2v2.
Yeah, but the spike never left B main.
Bacon's running for the hills. Bacon should be heard from market, though. The sound cone that you make should be noted. And there's that turn from the Killjoy. Alarm bot is the only thing that's thrown in towards mid, though. And this will allow Bacon to get all the way over towards the A side, all the way into the site. And the only thing waiting for them is 2 nanoswarms. One of them they note. The second one, I believe they should have just seen. But instead, they will now look to put that spike down default. Long rotation, but one that will have enough time to solidify.
Yeah, interesting that second swarm grenade didn't get set off. I mean, after that first one was shot, you would expect the plant to come pretty close after that. But now 1v2 jump up box.
No.
Ganyu so aware, finds the head onto Bacon. Wesleyan string together 2 in a row for their 6th.
I don't hate the decision to get aggressive there. I don't hate taking the fight to the 2 players that are retaking, because they don't expect you to swing. But the problem is, when you have to jump on top of boxes like that, there's a period of time where you to wait till you land to start shooting, and your opponents has that time to then turn their attention to you, readjust their spray, do whatever they need to then find that ability to step back in. I'm gonna say it was a difficult fight to take for Ganyu, whether they sit passive or not, but I would have been more than happy with them going into tree, maybe even breaking the window before they walk onto site, set up that possible flank for the later stages. There's a lot of options. I think that was the worst of all of them.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there. Maybe even play dice, just try to isolate angles as best as you can. We're going to see a timeout coming out from Indiana Tech here just to try and see if they can string together a conversion here on this round. If they lose this, they will be going into the last round and a half with that eco.
True. And it's going to be a challenging one, considering Illinois Wesleyan has been playing catch-up for a lot of this, compared to what has been many rounds prior. The other conversation is, what does Indiana Tech want to change? Obviously, they have a timeout to make that decision. Illinois Wesleyan, last time they called a timeout, they won, 3 in a row? But there's no guarantees anymore. There's nothing based around that, and more importantly, there's more than enough weaponry on both sides to close out the half.
I think what's been working for them in the early rounds was that mid to B split. But eventually, Wesleyan kind of caught on. They stacked a few more players onto that mid area. So I think at this time, you may want to fully rush a site together. Perhaps instead of mid to B, you can do mid A splits, because we see the defense has been set towards that mid B. You can see 4 people stacked on the side of Wesleyan on that B site.
Well, Illinois Wesleyan trying that stack. It seems like one single player playing for a long angle, and it doesn't seem like it's going to turn into all that much. Good haunt, we'll find some information to rate him about, and the fact that it's used early leaves it available in the later stages of the round, 35 timer being what it is and everything. But where does Indiana Tech go off the back of that? Obviously they can readjust towards A, but there's still some utility waiting for them, and an early warning system of an alarm bot waiting in towards Catwalk as well.
Yeah, and Bacon here is going to try and solo hold this B angle. May swing off the bot, but not going to be aware that he's swinging into 3. Ganyu making quick work of Bacon right there. But now the hit's coming on the other side. Showstop Truth being invested on this equal round right now, and it's not going to be able to find too much. Instead, loses a ton of damage from the turret swarm grenade combo. They will get the plant down, but it is going to have to be a 4v5 on this post plant.
It's another situation the showstopper used just for nobody to be even in the same zip code, much less possibly the same state with Illinois versus Indiana. And Phantom finding a follow-up kill makes it a 5v3. There's no flank to worry about as well. It's only an A main presence. Haunt was about to be thrown around the corner, but they saw the raise and they've now dispatched of them. There's the showstopper from Ganyu finding one of their own, and they end up blast packing into main to find a second, a third on the round, and a 7th for Illinois Wesleyan. They'll head into the final round of the half with a 3-round lead and a more than helpful scenario to try and close out this one with a 4th.
Last round.
Absolutely. I mean, 7-4, 7 rounds on defense is the bare minimum that you want to be on Ascent. So if they can take an 8th round, it's going to be pretty huge. Luckily, Indiana Tech is able to scrape together 5 rifles here with that light armor. So hopefully they still have enough utility to try and hit this. They played a little bit passive, in my opinion, on that save round there, just trying to see if they can get any picks, but unfortunately weren't able to get none. Wesleyan playing so patient on there, swinging together. And now we're going to see this B main aggression now. Cavalier taking out Ganyu. So for the first time in a long time, Indiana Tech get the first blood.
Something to work with, something to base it off of. They have taken down a massive fragging potential from this defensive side, but there's still more than enough utility and ultimates left over for them. They still have Cosmic Divide, they still have the Lockdown available, and they still have the Nightfall. The problem for Indiana Tech, they do not have the Hunter's Fury to counter out what would be a very definitive and helpful Lockdown to put down later on in this round.
Yeah. If Indiana Tech can get into position to hit that lockdown, they should be able to get the plant down and push the rest of the team back. But look at this. I think this is beautiful right now with Indiana Tech making a huge amount of noise in that tree area. But is the KJ on that B side going to call for the rotation? I think that's what we're seeing now as Indiana Tech look to go towards mid, but William Afton may have an idea of what is going on, calling for the rest of his team to rotate.
Guiding light through, they swing through that smoke, but Drago has swung forward and doesn't note that market is now occupied. And it seems like back to A is indeed the call. A little bit of a telegraph from Indiana Tech, with the dark cover being thrown to the backside of mid, but because they cleared out all that utility in the earlier stages of the round, they have a fairly open A site. They don't have to worry about the alarm bot, any turret, any nano swarms. It's clear, but do they clear out that flank? Yes, Bacon's dead.
Yeah, William just knowing the map so well, understanding that there could be a possible alert there, and now that's the attacker lockdown being taken. Now the defensive lockdown comes down from Phantom and uses the Phantom to find 3. Yuri there to support as well, and all of a sudden it's just going to be Jurino in the 1v4. Phantom just W-keying, chasing him down as Wesleyan will get their 8th to end the half.
That was textbook from Illinois Wesleyan. Not only that, but they rotated as expected. Not only as expected from us, but honestly as expected from Indiana Tech, and still ended up walking away with the round victory. They moved their attention primarily over towards mid. After the A pressure had started to taper off a little bit, they then re-aggress over towards A with more than enough help. And the fact that Phantom finds 2 kills on the players trying to aggress onto the lockdown put in tree, only to do so without taking nearly any damage, is insane to me. Very clean end of the round, and an important finish for Illinois Wesleyan to put up an 8-4 first half.
Yeah, Phantom coming out with a hero play there, like you said. That's not a scenario he should be winning. He shouldn't be winning a 1v2 after placing the lockdown. But I do want to call out I don't know who the IGL is for Wesleyan, but they're doing a really good job. I want to say that it is the Asher player. It should be. They're getting the pings that I'm seeing, and they're getting the rotates there, but also the ability to anchor their position and be so aware of how the macro rotations are coming out from the side of the offense there. I think that's what made the difference in that round.
So what is the difference maker for Illinois Wesleyan should there be a fortuitous pistol? Obviously, things are significantly more difficult in the pistol. They've had some challenges, especially back in that first half when they lost pistol conversion and the first full rifle round. But, I mean, you discount the first 4 rounds of the half, and Illinois Wesleyan won 7-1. That's nuts. If Illinois Wesleyan wins the pistol, I think this game's over.
Yeah, I think so, too. This is a very big round for both teams right now. Win pistols, win game, Dan.
So, how does it work here? How is there a change for Illinois Wesleyan in the pistol? The answer, at least helpfully, seems to be they can play more together, considering they're on the attacking side. Strength in numbers being the whole conversation that it is, but maybe hesitant. There were 4 players still sitting in the primary part of spawn, even like 10 seconds into the round. and they're splitting A with 3 or 4 of them going mid. This is interesting.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how they work this variation of the double duelist right now. So we're going to see the Raze kind of lurk up there. Guiding Light comes out, but it has been dodged, and the Frenzy could have made a mess. But Phantom dare to trade out, keeping the damage low. Still, though, I say the damage is low, but so is the HP. William Afton finds a late lurk pick somehow, being the only member left with full HP there. This guy will heal up the KJ, and simply will get spotted out by the alarm bot. So there is going to be a 3v3 retake after the plant goes down.
If they made more than enough noise, do they note that Phantom could still be waiting around Catwalk? We've seen this scenario before, notably in our previous map, where a Killjoy late lurking in through mid without making nearly any noise whatsoever can very well catch off this position. And given it's the pistol round, you don't expect all that much of a lurk. You're waiting for a sound cue if you're Phantom. You're waiting for that turn from Simply, or you're waiting for help from the site itself. A good coordinated swing from the site and from the mid position makes it more than possible. But Phantom walking through Heaven is dispatched by Bacon only for William Afton to find one of his own from that tree position. Now William Afton, with a spike ticked to half, gives himself an opportune spot tucked in towards 3. But is there enough time for Bacon? I believe there should be. He's got it. 2.5 seconds, actually. More than enough for him to walk away with. And Indiana Tech with both pistol rounds here on Ascent.
Wow, I think that was well done on the side of both teams. I mean, that double swing timing from Tree was just absolutely brilliant, but we also saw a double swing timing coming out from Bacon and Jarino coming out of Heaven there to even up the numbers, with Bacon cleaning up at the end. Well played in that 1v1 scenario by both players. William not falling for any fake taps. Bacon understanding that he doesn't have much time to work with, has to aggress to get that kill and get the defuse. So well done there in the end by Bacon.
Good enough. It's a clean finish. Well, less than clean finish, but clean close in the 1v1 at least. So an opportune position back and a way back into this map for Indiana Tech. But the fact is, a spike was planted, makes things maybe less than ideal in the later stages. And there are 4 players walking on towards the A site here. This creates more than a problem for Indiana Tech. Flash straight through that nebula. Good enough for Cavalier. Finds one. Dragon with one of their own. But that's 2 rifles that can be recovered. And now, a possible 2v3?
Yeah, and William Afton has been hitting those shots. Now has the Vandal in hand. Chinese Spider will get the plant down. These are 2 of their highest fragging players as well. So we're going to see what Indiana Tech will do to try and retake this. We hear the Stinger online. Guiding Light comes out, and William is going to try and hide from that owl drone. Trailblazer now should spot 1. Don't know if they spotted the other, but they heard the Owl Jones, so you should know that 2 is there. And William just making huge plays right now, pushing into the smoke. 1v1 now, should wait for the tap. Dark Cloud has been put down. Here's the tap. Gets the swing and wins the thrifty round. William Afton comes up huge with the 4K to get 9 on the board for Wesleyan.
The most genius part of that round is not William Afton tucking into the corner outside of the nebula, but it's instead using the Trailblazer while the Owl Drone had been heard. It turns the attention of the Owl Drone towards the site, and yes, Tiny Spider is seen by it, they're detected, but William Afton, not being detected by it, then tucks back into the nebula, gets aggressive, and finds 2 players not looking in their general direction. They were tunnel visioned on the Sky who occupied the site. They thought, oh, William Afton must have been tucked somewhere else, maybe Hell, maybe A main, elsewhere to say the very least, and that false sense of security catches them all, finds 2 kills, and a low HP Omen ends up being dispatched of quickly enough. And Illinois Wesleyan winning that gives them an obvious advantage now into this 3rd round. 2 separate players already taken care of, and they have rifles, not so much for Indiana Tech, but they do have flank walking through the bottom of mid. How much does this Omen find? 1. Somehow a headshot without a kill onto the 2nd. William Afton needs to go buy a lottery ticket because they were just outside the radius needed for a 1-tap headshot from the Sheriff.
Absolutely. I think like half a meter difference to being able to stay alive there. But we are going to see the plant come down for Wesleyan. Now they have the numbers advantage. They have the rifle advantage. This should be double digits unless there are some heroic plays coming out from Indiana Tech. Seems like they're able to recover 1 of the Vandals. We did see what 1 Vandal could do. Let's see if Jarino is able to make plays right now. Finds the first onto Phantom to thin the numbers just a little bit. There should be another rifle recovered. And we're going to see a similar scenario happen, Dan, but on the other side.
Deja vu, to say the very least, but with weapons for everybody here in this third round. Haunt thrown through, but William Afton this time has redecided where they're playing. Now tucking into A main, C's will land onto both players, and they're actually swinging off the back of it. Good headshot first, swing back from Bacon, will find both kills, but do they know William Afton, who swings off the back of both frags coming from the site? He does so quickly enough to deny the actual site take, deny the spike defuse, and give Illinois Wesleyan their 10th round.
Wow. What a round coming out. And normally I would say that was a good eco round for Indiana Tech, but that wasn't even a bonus coming out for Wesleyan. They have more than enough money to reinvest into this and getting double digits there. So that was about as good as it could get for Indiana Tech, but unless they got the W. But we are seeing what these converted rifles can do, Dan.
Well, 5 rounds the difference as of right now. And multiple problems now developing for Indiana Tech. They're having difficulties getting in, difficulties getting out, difficulties sticking around a lot of these fights, difficulties winning multiple fights at the same time. I liked that round from them. Were many good decisions made, but the problem is they just didn't count for A main pressure, nor the time that was really required. Took a little bit too long to develop. And yeah, it was really good utility usage from the Fade. Haunt sees combinations kind of deadly, and it's free information. Still a problem to walk away with, and one you have to solve because you're 3 rounds from losing this map.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's not going to be many chances for Indiana Tech right now. You lose this, you're back on another eco, and all of a sudden it's going to be match point, right? So this is definitely a must-round win. I think what they will need to do, coming from their offense, I don't think the difference that I'm seeing is they don't have the same map control that we saw. They don't have the same map control that we saw Wesleyan have on the defense, being able to find that information early. Now Haunt may not be as strong as Recon Dart, but it does cover a lot of ground. It does show a lot of situations there, and they have a lot more stall factor with that C's being able to stop pushes from that raise, isolating the raise from any double satchels. We're not seeing that on the side of Indiana Tech. They don't have any stalls coming out. At most a paranoia, but we're not seeing the Omen in position to do that anyway.
And the problem is we didn't see it in the first half, and it's a little bit too late to make that adjustment now that you are on that defensive side. Many more problems for them that they can solve. At least now they only have to worry about this second half, and again, there is still more than an opportunity for them to bring this back. Illinois Wesleyan looked much better in the second part of that first half compared to the first. Maybe there's a change for Indiana Tech in the same general direction. There has to be that change sooner rather than later. They don't have that same affordability to slow things down. They do not have the first half jitters to, well, blame this on, to say the very least. They have to win. They have to win a lot without losing nearly anything.
Yeah, and I think with the team composition that Wesleyan is bringing into this, you have the Fade, you have the Asha. It is a very defensive team comp, which also translates on the offense that they have to play a little bit slow. So if I'm Indiana Tech, I'm going to try and see if I can find those pockets of time where Wesleyan is trying to set up a play. Can I get aggressive? Can I just peek out at the right moment to get the picks that I need to bring the round into my favor?
There's a lot of questions for Indiana Tech, and honestly a lot of questions for us for them as well. What do you change about your defensive side? What are the opportunities you can give yourself to stick around? I do like how they've played a little bit of the defensive side, playing together, making sure they have coordinated pushes and somebody watching something at any particular time. But their early rounds are the real question for me. Their retakes have looked okay. Obviously, still something to be desired here and there, but okay at the bare minimum. But you're not sticking around in the A site long enough to bleed out enough utility. The fact that the Fade in a post-plant scenario still has at least 3/4 of her utility, not counting the Nightfall, is a concern. She has to dedicate more than that to take a site if you want to be able to retake a site. And we'll see if that ends up happening here in these final possible 8 rounds of play. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 7 rounds? A lot of rounds of play. We still have a few left, but only Illinois Wesleyan needed 3 of them. Good flash, but no kills. And oh my goodness, the reswing. How do none of those kill him? What?
All right, but Simply's there to find 3 despite all of that. Now he's got you with the paint shells to push back Simply. The Cavaliers there to support, and all of a sudden it's just going to be Phantom left with Bacon making quick work of that. So must-win round on the side of Indiana Tech, and they do exactly that by getting aggressive.
What the heck just happened in A main? Flash, paint shells, swing with a sheriff that somehow only hits 1 of 7 shots, even though the crosshair was on the same player for all 7 of them. Welcome to Valorant and Bloom, I guess. But you're looking at Indiana Tech and saying that's a round that you needed to win, and they just decide, sure, we'll take the fight to end. We'll make sure we win it. Don't leave anything up to chance. The known variable versus the unknown variable. We know we're gonna swing A main, so hopefully it works.
Yeah, and I must say, props to Drago there. He's 7-16, but no fear being the first one in there. And that's exactly what you need from your duelist player. You need them to be aggressive. Even if they aren't hitting the shots, you just need them to set the tone, set the space for the rest of the team to follow up.
Well, now significantly slower. It's like yin and yang between 2 rounds, where Indiana Tech just decide, hey, let's slow things down. No need to over-aggress. The problem is, all of their Killjoy utility is over towards A. Ultimate Orb will be heard. So that should be good enough, but they swing knowing the Omen should be close. Guanyu on 3 HP, Phantom moment, but is still alive. That's the most important part.
Wow. Yeah, very strong paranoia there from Simply as well, just to hold the team back. But look at this, Dan. It is an eco round coming out from the side of Wesleyan. This is a team that has been winning most of the rounds in this half, and it's due to the fact that Indiana Tech had such a really good retake, like you said, making sure that if Wesleyan wins, they're only winning with 1 person alive. So the economy forcing them to reinvest back into this, giving Indiana this anti-eco round right now.
5 players in A main, all of them rearing and ready to go, kicking their feet. And the guiding light, that's going to initiate things. It doesn't hit anything other than the player in heaven. Simply waiting for them will swing forward, hits 1 kill, needs a second though before they end up falling, and they won't find it. They will not, however, be able to recover that rifle that's sitting in heaven. Ganyu will only find the Phantom that was waiting on the backside of the generator, and they see the head of the Killjoy, who ends up dedicating, surprisingly enough, their lockdown in heaven. Is this swung by Ganyu? We've seen them try to swing this before. We've seen them run into issues while doing so in prior rounds, and they'll run into yet another. A 1 versus 2 now for the Sky, who occupies that A main position and has already found 1 kill in the round. A Sheriff in hand, and their position may very well be noted by this recon bolt, but it goes very far. That could very well be avoided. And that lack of information, they may think the last player's heaven. They may think he's packed into hell, but they just stick with their guns, they stick with the gut call, and Jorino will swing Tiny Spider to drop him. It will be an Indiana Tech 7th.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful recon dart there used by Jorino. I mean, we did see the Sky had the angle, had the cross, right? And Jorino being 30 HP, that's 1 Sheriff shot to the body for the kill. Just patience there by Jorino, waiting for the cooldown to come up, waiting for the recon dart just to push the Sky off the angle to secure that round. Well done by Indiana Tech there.
3-round deficit only. Illinois Wesleyan having some difficulties on the attacking side, obviously still recoverable to say the very least. But the problem they're going to run into, to understate the obvious, is that level of consistency. Illinois Wesleyan now have rifles. Maybe it was only short-lived because Illinois Wesleyan didn't have the greatest of weaponry, and that 1 round ended up spiraling into 2 or 3. But what ends up being that final call? Already an opening kill out B main. Nice swing from Draogo. But, a reswing from Simply. They find one and just back away.
Yeah,
Aggression.
well done.
Disengage.
Yeah, just keep the numbers alive. Keep the numbers advantage. You already got both of the first picks. There's no need to be more aggressive, allowing the enemy team to even up the numbers there. So well done from Indiana Tech, just holding down these sites.
What's the alteration? Where do Illinois Wesleyan now adjust from here? William Afton has occupied tiles for about 30 seconds or so that's at least guaranteed positioning. Swing from Catwalk, both kills found, and the reswing through main from the backside of mid ends up working for Bacon. And just like that, blink and you miss it. Indiana Tech win 3 consecutive rounds.
Yeah.
And magically, only have a 2-round deficit to contend with.
And all of this is coming back from, I don't know if they're watching the stream, Dan, because I asked them to be aggressive. And since then, since that timeout, they've been aggressive each and every single one of these rounds, getting the first 2 kills and just holding that numbers advantage throughout the whole thing. I think this is well done, a beautiful adjustment out of that timeout from Indiana Tech.
Follow-up update, by the way, UW-Madison has beaten Northwestern University and will guaranteeingly place in the top 2 over in Group B, barring a 2-1 3-team draw at that top. But a draw towards this B side may be unlucky here for the attacking half. They're re-swinging back towards main, but Cavalier getting aggressive ends up finding a double kill. I believe the 1 shot hit 2 players at the same time. Ended up finding a wallbang shot on a technicality. Because of it, they'll find a 3rd, and Indiana Tech will find their 9th.
Yeah. And I think at this point, if I'm Wesleyan, I'm calling a timeout. This is getting out of hand. You had a 10-5 lead, and they are in danger of getting tied up here. If they lose this round, that is economy shot.
Well, now the adjustment to come through. Illinois Wesleyan, looking at their ultimate economy, not even their economy as a whole, because they are able to buy once more. They have 4 ultimates with a 5th very much on the way. Basically, everybody can press X, and they'd be able to do something productive with it. They have to get in quickly. They have to play aggressive. Recon Bolt, surprisingly not used. A Shock Dart will just narrowly miss all 5 players, and the second one will as well. There's that lockdown, and importantly enough, there is no Hunter's Fury again for the Indiana Tech side to deter it, and even if there was, Torino's dead.
Yeah, Torino gets taken now, gets pushed back by all of those ultimates. So, numbers advantage now in Wesleyan's favor for the first time in a while. Drago does have the showstopper, will find a pick on Yuri, and somehow is able to hide in the smoke here. Is there aware of another person on that main area? But Kanyu's going crazy now, double headshots. It's all up to Simply in the 1v3, but won't be able to do too much as we see Wesleyan gain 11, preventing the equalizer.
That is the most textbook bait and switch I've ever seen, by the way, between Ganyu and Spider as well.
Yeah.
Tiny Spider swings out from B main, ended up completely running for the hills because the showstopper was popped. As soon as the raise threw it, killed Yuri, and then readjusted back towards main, you could see Tiny Spider on the left side of your screen, if you go back and watch the VOD at some point, walking back into Garage off the back of it. And as soon as that kill comes through from Ganyu on the catwalk position, the reswing is there from Tiny Spider. They tuck behind the original button wall, and you see the reswing to find the final kill. Good coordination, good combination from the entirety of Illinois Wesleyan, and a very much needed 11th round because they just could not wait anymore.
Yeah, and on the topic of Tiny Spider, they have 21 assists, damn. There hasn't been a kill that Tiny Spider was not a part of with their utility, and that is what's keeping Wesleyan in the lead right now. Showstopper now getting invested on the side of Wesleyan. Kaiju takes out Jorino almost immediately with it.
Back-to-back rounds where back-to-back showstoppers land. More than enough difficulties in the first half for Indiana Tech to hit theirs, but now a very tucked Astra. No way you're clearing this with no prompting doing so, especially with a nanoswarm thrown there. You're just thinking that no one's in the general vicinity. Nebula, another nanoswarm. Are they going to save? No, they're going to end up walking in and Simply will die. So now will Cavalier, and Bacon finds one through mid on an attempted flank, but it's not going to matter. The only thing that will prevent is a flawless round. It's not going to prevent the round victory, and William Afton may end up finding their 4th on the round as well. This is a problem for Indiana Tech, and one I don't think they're going to find a solution to in the very near future.
Yeah, I don't think there's any time for Bacon to try and do this. May have to just go for exits there. Finds one, unable to find another Phantom to close out, and that's going to be match point for Wesleyan.
That's a problem for Indiana Tech. Back-to-back rounds you lose, and I was surprised that the Killjoy ended up going for that. I want to see the economy on the Indiana Tech side. Okay, they do have enough to buy. So not saving there is not the most absurd thing. You were trying to find something to make this a more difficult round for Illinois Wesleyan, but the fact that they've put back-to-back on the board, the first of those was fairly clean, the second even more so. And now you're looking at a scenario where you have one ultimate to walk away with, and that is arguably the least helpful on your team. It's from the shadows. It's not helpful. At least not enough.
An early Cosmic Divide coming now from the side of Wesleyan there. And this is going to cut a lot of information on that B site. And it may as well just be a fake, because look, Spike is heavy on that A site. Drago's already pushed up mid. May get caught from tiles if they're not careful. I don't know if Indiana Tech have an idea that this Cosmic Divide is just a fake. They do. They've pushed all the way up to B into Garage, so they should know Simply now. In the 1v3, will get caught by the Nightfall and the Prowler. Phantom to clean it up real quick, and that should be a free A site plant for Wesleyan.
It's really good due diligence from Illinois Wesleyan, making sure, yeah, you dedicated an ultimate, but anybody could be there. You even throw a Prowler off the back of it just to solidify that guarantee. And Ganyu swings through mid at the perfect time. Drago was watching that, and as soon as they turn away, there's the swing. Cavalier ends up finding 2 of their own. I don't know if there's a third player. There ends up not being so. So instead of 2v2 retake, it's a 3v3 in this A site just for the final round, or what may very well end up being of this game. Fury in through hell, finds a first, needs to reswing for the second, but is being baited out by the kill. Killjoy, and it's Bacon to win that fight, but William Afton and the Phantom just patiently waiting in through main. The utility dedicated on top of the spike, the Nanostorm ends up going off, and will find Cavalier, but not before they get it to half. This is a possible clutch for Bacon, but one they don't have the opportunity to close out. The 2v3 ends up going the way of Illinois Wesleyan, and a 13-9 victory to close out that map.
Wow. Beautiful execution here coming out from the side of Wesleyan. I mean, that Cosmic Divide set up solely for that B side, and it cost Indiana Tech so much time trying to clear B main, making sure that it was a fake, and it just allowed Wesleyan just slowly walk up onto A, and even still had the Nightfall to invest to make sure that there was nobody else on the site, clear it out, get the plant, get into beautiful post-plant positions despite losing 2 in that tree area, and they just close out the map. Well done.
It is really clean, to say the very least, over on the Illinois Wesleyan side. They had some difficulties in the earlier stages of the first half, maybe the middle stages of the second, but they ended up identifying what the problem was and altering their play style accordingly. That is signs of a really good team, especially in the collegiate scene. You're in a university. You might as well learn while you can and make alterations to your play style when you have the opportunities to do so. They'll end up walking away with a 13-9 victory. And here's the stats. 1.5 KD for Ganyu, 22 and 15, 22 and 16, give or take. Wow.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those cases where KD is not really that important, because I'm pretty sure Tiny Spider ended that game with 25 assists, which is exactly what you want to see coming out from your Sky player. I mean, Tiny Spider was there, involved in every single fight, buddy system with Ganyu, setting Ganyu up, allowing Ganyu to get those opening frags that they needed to open up sites there. And honestly, the scoreline 13-9, it's not as close as the game it actually was. I mean, there were so many runs coming out from both teams. We saw Wesleyan string together 5 rounds. We saw Indiana Tech swing together 5 rounds. So it was just a very beautiful game of adjustments coming out from both teams.
We're down to the final 3 games of our group stage as well. All that remains is DuPage versus UWxBHOP and CGC UIC Blaze versus Northwestern University over in Group B. And here in Group A, it's only Indiana Tech versus CGC UIC. Really good finish for Illinois Wesleyan. They end up finishing 2-1 in the group. There's certainly an opportunity for this group to end up finishing with a 2-1 tie across the board, but we're not going to end up watching that game. We're going to come back with one of the 2 Group B matches. I believe it's UIC Blaze versus Northwestern, but we'll get a definitive call for you when we return in a little bit after this break. The battle for Chicago. Distance may very well only be about 15 miles, but it could be much larger than that in this Group B deciding matchup. Who ends up with an unfortunate last place finish and an 0-3 record in the group? Who goes 1-2 and makes it at least something to go home with? We'll find out when Northwestern takes on CGC University of Illinois Chicago Blaze in just a few minutes. I'm Time Late. Still joined alongside me here is Jackson 5K. And Jackson, we saw CGC UIC Blaze already today.
Yes,
for
we did.
14 rounds, and they won one of them.
Yeah, not a lot of information for us to work here on the side of the analysis part, but did see some things that I was pretty hopeful for. Double aggression on that double duelist on defense, not something that you see, teams who are behind in the match get aggressive on defense. So for them, even though they weren't winning the game, they were still trying to play it the right way, which I think is a good thing. I want to see if they were able to take any of the lessons that they may have learned in the last two games and put it together for a good, cohesive game coming out.
Yeah, and on the other side of things, we will have CGC UIC, the main team, taking on Indiana Tech. Regardless, CGC UIC will finish with 2 wins, but is it 2 wins or 3 wins, or 2 wins and 2 wins and a loss? That will be the question. It could end up being a 3-way tie over there in terms of things, where basically everybody wins against one other team, and will also get a win against Illinois Institute of Technology because they ended up forfeiting all 3 of their games. Super cool of them, but unfortunate to say the very least. The other game over here, by the way, is UWxBHOP taking on the Collegiate of DuPage Esports. Both of those teams are 2-0. Winner of that wins that group, or this group, I suppose. Speaking of this group, final map of it, we're headed to Haven. Thank God there's no Ascent anymore.
Yeah, something different. Haven, also another staple in Valorant. We've seen a lot of teams running the same composition that we've seen for this map here. It's usually the Sova, Breach, Omen, Killjoy, and the Jet, which is something that we are seeing CGC play this time, a meta comp. However, on the other hand, with Northwestern, we are seeing the double duelist come out. So if I were a betting man, I would say that the meta comp wins once again, Dan.
I don't know what the heck we saw from Indiana Tech last game. I don't know if that's a correct presumption of how Ascent should go. We saw a fade on Ascent.
That's true.
In the year of our Lord 2023. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, the meta comp should work. On paper it should.
Yes.
But I've seen crazy things today. Sheriff's only hitting 1 of 7 shots while the crosshair was correctly placed on all of them. His Valorant bloom moment.
Select your agent.
CGC UIC losing 13-1 on a map that, I mean, I don't know if the whole agent composition thing had anything to do with it on that one. But this is Haven. Completely different conversation, and 2 teams that are currently 0-2, maybe a close matchup in our final of the day.
Yeah, I would love to see a close matchup here. I definitely want to see some good team play coming out from the side of CGC. We did get to see them. Their utility usage seemed to be a little bit off sync. Haven is a map that is very important to sync up your utility, especially when you're running the meta comp. Flashes and dashes have to happen perfectly here.
Here's our final game of the day. Northwestern will start off on the defensive side. CGC UIC Blaze on the attack. And you said it. Maybe that more standard composition will work. Honestly, though, I could take a look at both of these compositions and say that one's the more standard. I'm going to be real with you here. Double Initiator isn't absurd. Double Duelist is, I think, more standard, but, I mean, you're looking at both of them and saying, yeah, that's reasonable. There's nothing absurd here. That's my favorite part of this. We're seeing 2 normal compositions.
So we're going to see a hit towards that A side here. See, double duelist now defending on that A side. The Jet and the Raze. And look at the... Oh my goodness, what a shot coming out from Zia already. And this pinch coming out from the side of Akiyama as well. So they get 2 early kills here, and the spike is down.
And just like that, many more difficulties, and there are easy scenarios here, as Zia will find one, and now look to back away again. They'll avoid the shock dart that was thrown their general direction. But Rockin', now looking to get aggressive in through mid, has found one onto the Omen of Northwestern, and has actually given some space to work with. There's also a turret watching mid, making things a little bit more possibly convenient for them. But, oh, Dubs just waiting for them in towards garage. Is this cleared? Gun barrel already seen. First kill found. They only go only for one. That leaves most of the B site open, but not if they can't find that kill into Dino Sauce.
And Dino Sauce with that turret to hold across there. Mojo finds one, but still it's a 1v2 scenario, and they don't have the spike, nor did that recon dart get them the information that they want. But oh my goodness, Mojo 1 almost finding both kills. They found headshots onto both, but who knew Dino Sauce was a shield buying KJ on round 1.
That, and consider the fact that Dino Sauce had a Nano Swarm on the floor there as well. That was very nearly a round victory for CGC UIC Blaze. So close yet so far. Mojo had a couple of nice shots. Nice first clean onto Zia. Nice follow-up in through the garage, but not being able to find that final shot they needed while sitting inside the Nano Swarm, that was a difference maker. I think if they have 2 more shots, they win that round. But the Nano Swarm basically did about 40 or 50 damage worth of damage and ended up finding what they needed. Also, nasty Ares shots. They've already done, what, almost 460 damage between the entire team.
Yeah. They just almost mowed them all down. Meanwhile, Zia on the other side of A-Long only needed 1 bullet to the brain to get that pick. So a combined total of maybe 125 HP amongst the last 4 members of CGC.
I'm gonna be real here. Not the app, but the scenario is not looking good for CGC UIC. Does Dino Sauce swing this? I wouldn't be surprised if they do. Yeah, they find one of the 2 low HP players, at least in that general vicinity. At least find a follow-up. Spike will be retrieved quickly enough, and a wasted Nano Storm, nothing to write home about. But I think CGC UIC, this is a win for them if they get the Spike down. And it seems like they're going to have the opportunity to do so here on B.
Yeah, Spike down. Let's see if you can get 1 weapon off the hand, but Brown's pretty much going in favor of Northwestern. They do get that 1, but Dino Sauce, again, to clean up, does have the Spectre in hand, and the last 2 members of CGC are extremely low in health. Swarm Grenade should get the pick. Wow, Rockin' able to find 1 onto Zia, so that's 2 down, and that's about as much as you can ask for in this equal round. DXB will get the final pick there with that Ares that did so much damage to start, and that's going to be 2 on the board for Northwestern.
Yeah, V-Dub's finding that final, and honestly, not a great round for Northwestern compared to what they may have wanted, but you keep 3 players alive, you win the conversion. Both teams can walk away from that round and say, that was a very fine round for us to win, because CGC UIC did economic damage and found a spike plant, Northwestern won it and kept 3 players alive. It's very much 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, depending on how you look at each squad.
And this time, as they try to hit that A site again, they are going to have to be wary of a potential short flank here that they saw in the first pistol round, which is why Northwestern is opting for both of their duelists to play the A-long angle.
I don't hate it. Problem is giving up sewers at least as much as you have. Use that Owl Druid to walk in. Surprisingly, he doesn't find the tag onto the Raze, but the tag onto Zia, 1 headshot from Takmi, is more than good enough for CGC UIC. Now with the better weaponry, they are taking the onus to themselves. Dash into the back of sight, but somehow Akiyama finds at least 1 kill. Wants a second, will find that as well. Good utility combination from their Omen before they fall, and the paint shells will do more than enough damage to write home about on towards that Killjoy. But it is still the 2v3, and lesser weaponry for both of these 2 remaining players. Inside of the smoke is the Omen. As the smoke dissipates, so will the health bar of Rockin. That early paint shell damage was more than good enough. They've actually used the Shrouded Step to get out.
Yeah, and this is a great plant, though, still coming out from the side of CGC. It's planted for both Hell, Long, as well as Sewers, and they do have the crossfire set for this. Look at this. From paint, graffiti, to Takmi gets the kill onto Psychopomp, and it's just going to be Dino Sauce. Now, in the 1v2, they are able to get 1, and that is huge eco damage done from Northwestern.
Similar situation to the previous round. Economic damage, no round victory, but it's still okay, and you're at least surviving with it. And to make matters worse for CGC UIC, they lose so much they only save over a single Vandal. Nice 4K from Takmi, sure, but things should not have been that difficult against lesser weaponry. Omen had a nice shot, nice from Psychopomp. Yep, I can read. But Northwestern, you're looking at that and saying, well, now it's lesser rifles. If you end up winning this round, CGC UIC Blaze is on an eco, and does Zia win an opening fight this time? No.
Okay.
Don't even take an opening fight. Akiyama.
Down A.
Yeah, nice little trap play. Once again, we're seeing that A long, A short combo. Very difficult for CGC to deal with. As they lose their first member, Owl Drone to spot out Zia, but the pink shell to push Zia back. Kirill in the 1v1, unable to find the shot. Zia somehow alive after all of that still.
And importantly enough, Zia's still sticking around. This is more than enough information for Northwestern. The fact that everybody seemingly backed away. Rockin finds a free kill into VDubs, who was jumping around with an Odin in hand. And Dino Sauce doesn't note the fact that Cubby still could be occupied by the aforementioned Sova. A double there, and now looking to break on towards C. That Cloudburst doesn't exist for as long as they think, though. Already one back for Psychopomp, but it's more than good enough for CGC UIC Blaze. They take C site, they'll have a post plant, and they have more than enough HP for everybody to make this a negligible round.
Yeah, and that round comes on the back of Rockin. They're able to find 2 picks there on mid. And now, holding this Cubby position, does know that Zia is there, even though Zia takes down Kiro. They should have a crossfire. 2v2 now. Are they aware of the pinch? Yes, Takmi still aware, has that angle. And Zia may just have to save this, as this is a pretty tough ask for them to clear this 1v2. Fault line comes out. Takmi gets the headshot. Zia tried to run away, but unable to do so. CGC tied up at 2.
The only way you win that round, if you are in that 1v2, is if you take the fight to the Cubby player quickly. You have to gain that control. You cannot allow them to swing off of one another from a distance. You cannot allow them that freedom. I thought Takmi was actually setting up a flash. Instead, the fault line. I love that call. Use utility as you have it. I mean, you're not going to lose it in the next round, but, I mean, you're going to have to rebuy it either, because it's a signature ability. I'm a little surprised it wasn't used earlier, all things considered, and they didn't proactively swing off of it rather than reactively swing.
True.
But it's a round victory nonetheless, and we're tied up at 2.
And now we're seeing a different defensive hold coming out from Northwestern now, aggressively pushing down B main. On this eco round, Zia is going to try and hide in the smoke with the Blaze Storm Takmi to make quick work of Zia. And now we see the double push come to window. Is Rockin aware of this? Will they be able to get the backstab?
I don't know if the Killjoy is going to be in that position. The alarm bot will note the fact that Killjoy has to turn around, and they will. Rockin finds one, spray down for a second. Surprisingly, doesn't find the opportunity onto Akiyama, who just tucks at this point. Good use of the blast pack, but Rockin still wins the fight. In the end, it's a 1v5 for Dino Sauce. The site was taken, the site was held, and the site should be for the remainder of this round. Just narrowly will that shot miss, and CGC UIC Blaze will have that lead back once more.
Yeah, and that round, I think, was well done from CGC, understanding that Northwestern may try to get aggressive there, and the main play for all teams on Haven is to just aggress down B into window, right? So what they do instead is they drop a very deep smoke to block Zia off of that swing on A long, because Zia's just been eaten on that angle. They drop the smoke there. They're able to lurk up and catch Zia out of surprise, and leaving Rockin there for that Lake Fang to get those backstabs. Eventually enables them to win that anti-eco round.
Quick usage of the recon bullet. I think it just found 3 players. I don't know how that lineup worked, but it worked, to say the very least. And that means that this rotation towards A is more than founded off of information. VDub's position will be noted. I don't think they've been scanned out by that fire, so nothing to write home about. And at this point, you can see CGC UIC Blaze are just patiently waiting. No reason for them to overaggress, but as they do this, that information they've gained earlier is significantly less worth.
Yeah. Still, though, the members of Northwestern have not rotated out. This paranoia angle has been beautiful for Kiro. Comboed with the recon dart, finds 2. EP finds 1 as well. So that brings the numbers to a 4v3. Not if Dino Sauce can say something about it, taking down their KJ counterpart. But it is going to be a 2v4 retake. It's Zia on the operator. So I think this is going to be a save, Dan.
Can't really blame him on that one. Save it. CGC UIC Blaze have been so good at taking the A site. They've coordinated utility well, and they've gotten in quickly enough for it to work. Repeatedly, you will see Cloudburst to the back corner and a Tailwind into it. But the fact that it's worked multiple times here without Northwestern really noting that it could be a problem point is where I'm concerned for them. And you're looking at this from Northwestern's point of view and saying, what can you change on your defensive side? Naturally, you could just dedicate a 4th player towards A, but then you give up B or C for free. You could completely disengage off of A, which is something I wouldn't hate, all things considered. Just play for the retake, but then you, again, give A away for free.
Yep.
So what do you change?
I think at this point, this was the one round that Zia didn't play A long, right? And he tried to switch it up with the operator, but I think you post A long with that operator one more time. I think they're maybe second guessing themselves and outplaying themselves on the read here because look at the body language, the setup from CGC. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're gonna 5-man rush A once again.
The classic rush A, don't stop. Hold W until it doesn't work, and by then it's too late to change your mind. Oh, Psycho Pomp is close though. They have a judge in hand. They're going to throw a dark cover towards long. I don't know if this owl drone will note them. No, it only sees the rays, and Psycho Pomp has not made any noise in this corner. Are they going to be cleared? It seems like yes, and EP will see the gun barrel from a distance, and will do more than enough to find that kill. Rolling Thunder used, and there's Kiro, again using his tailwind to get in, and magically the round's over. This is another save from the exact same two players.
Yeah, and once again, that operator not finding the value that they would have wanted. And I think at this point, after this save, I think Zia will end up posting on that A-long angle. There you go. Zia takes down Kiro. They'll post up on that A-long angle, but that might be a good time for CGC to say, nope, we're not going to hit A this time. Well done off of that rush, using the Rolling Thunder to clear out everything. Broken, aware that they may be one in the flank. So you're going to play super careful on this exit here.
A careful play just hasn't done enough, though. That's the problem. Northwestern, that passive nature. Oh, not when you're missing shots like that. I don't know if Zia's going to survive here, actually.
Yeah.
Is there. They will actually get back to their computer, only to die anyway. That's bad. That's so bad.
AFK at the wrong time, trying to save the operator is not the way to go. That's going to be 5 on the board for CGC. Now, remember, Haven is an attack-sided map, so them taking the lead here is not that big of a concern if you are Northwestern. You really want to try and take that 4 rounds. 5th round would be great, so they only need to win 3 more here, Dan.
I mean, honestly, you're fine with where you are if you're CGC UIC Blaze already. This is a good start. You've lost pistol conversion, but that's not the most absurd thing. You denied bonus, you won the first rifle round, and since you picked up better than SMG weapons, you've looked good. That's the most important part about this. There has been consistency from UIC Blaze, something we didn't see from them nearly at all back on Ascent in our first map of the day. Oh, VDubs is going to be forced out of this position as well. And to make matters worse, they were actually deterred back into it by the blast pack of their teammate used to get out of dodge, and Akiyama has been hurt, and now has been dispatched of. This round's over. It's just a matter of whether it ends up flawless or not. It won't. Dino Sauce again will deny that possibility, but it's not going to. It's a 4v1.
And Takmi, though, finding the headshot, knowing the angle through the smoke, and perhaps some lucky timing there. But this is a completely different CGC team that I'm seeing here, Dan. I mean, first of all, they're running the double initiator, which honestly, they probably should have just done on Ascent. I mean, Kiro is looking so fluid and comfortable on that jet pick. I don't know why they just didn't run that on Ascent, but they're doing it now, and they are looking beautiful. Takmi with an insane 12-2 scoreline right now.
And seeing the breach work is my favorite part about this. We were talking about what the meta is, what the more normal composition is for it being Haven. The lack of arrays was a little bit of a question, but the fact they are bringing a more functioning, to say the very least, breach is good. Low HP for Kiro already. Akiyama and Zia both finding a piece down towards sewers, and just like that, the team as a whole has done about 390 damage, if not more than that, depending on what the Jet had bought in terms of shields, in the span of, what, 25 seconds? That's good.
Yeah, and this is, once again, the double duelist duo on that A site, finally putting back work for Northwestern, forcing CGC to explore other sides of the map. They've just been winning A pretty much for the last 6 rounds in a row. But now EP does have the smoke, but Dinosaurs will get the trade out. That's going to be the spike down 2v5 scenario now for Roken and Kiro. And they should have more than enough economy to try and take these fights. But Akiyama not missing that op shot, and Kiro only has 2 HP left. Does have the Blade Storm, but he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
The flank. And he's dead.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
There you go.
Flawless. Finish there for Northwestern, and an important round to bring back. That is a momentum builder, to say the very least. And the fact that UIC Blaze dedicate a decent bit to that. More importantly, surprisingly throwing in your Blade Storm when you have a rifle, I'm a little questioning why that happened. Usually what you do is you save the Blade Storm as a pseudo rifle. Basically, you save your own and you buy it up in a situation where the rest of your team can buy. Maybe a player on your team can't, so you buy them and then use that.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna go back to the previous conversation that I had like last map or 2 maps ago. Why in the world does Rolling Thunder cost 9 ultimate points?
It's a very strong ultimate.
Not that strong.
They do like that smoke, that cloud burst to get the cross here, but Ojo's just not aware in that cloud, in that owl drone, and Zia just getting aggressive, finds the pick. Akiyama finds another as well. Roken to trade out, but the damage has already been done. It's a 2v4, Dan.
We're seeing proactivity from Northwestern. This round, the previous round, where they walked down sewers and found 2 opening kills. This is what we need to see from the Wildcats. But it is not a cleaned up round just yet. Both players alive can still very much hold their own in this round, and UIC Blaze need them to do so if they want to have any shot to walk away with it. Zia is dead. I think that's one of the more important parts of this. A shoulder-peeking Sova towards CT is not going to win you a round. If VDubs gets caught out here, it could be a situation where they walk away with a round loss. And the re-swing from the Raze, she dies. That's exactly what happens. There's that combination. You have the Raze walk out, but ends up dying because they were over-focused on the short position. And now the retake required, Aldrin will only see Rockin towards long.
Yeah, but they do have the lockdown to work with. Kiro now being a hero that they need. Takes down VDubs, but he is still going to have to deal with this lockdown. May get caught out, but what is this timing on the swing? He's going to get locked up here. Was he able to get away in time? Looks like he is able to. The dark cover helping him out there. Rockin'. Swarm grenades have been destroyed. Tap has come in. Dinosaurs with the spray through the smoke finds the head that they need. And this is going to be a stick defuse from Psycho Pop. And gets the headshot to win it out. So they do string together 2 in a row for their 4th.
Question there for UIC Blaze is, if you know for a fact that you're both going to go A-long with that scenario, why plant as far over as you did? It's easier to cover from A-long, and it's easier to avoid a possible push-in from CT while you're planting. There is no negative to planting further over, unless for some unknown reason you can't hold heaven for long enough to get the spike down. Even then, it's not a guarantee. I gotta say, little disappointing there for UIC Blaze. A round they could have brought back from a 2v4, or maybe even a 2v5, depending on when Zia died, but it's a round they end up losing anyway. Akiyama's position is noted. They're caught by a lot of utility, and they walk straight into Kiro. That's bad.
Yeah, but VDubs there to trade out as well, so it's going to be 2 duelists down, but it's still going to be the site take for CGC. They should get the plant down here and be able to play these post-plant positions.
I like this call from them. What they do is they shut down the over-aggression to Kiro and then back away and wait for assistance. The problem is, in doing so, they also have left themselves susceptible to a flank to a flank. Dino is waiting in garage, but Rockin, their position could be cleared from window, and that fight should go their way. Zia walking in will throw a cloudburst in front of that turret and will try to avoid it, only to throw off Rockin. But that's a lot of time and a lot of utility dedicated only for that single kill, and it's still been traded out elsewhere. EP repositioning and has baited out Psycho Pump into Takumi waiting inside of the dark cover, and just like that, it's a 1v3 that EP cleans up with 2 of his own. Clean finish for UIC Blaze, and that's the round they need to bring back to reestablish that 3-round lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there may have been a little bit of a misplay there from Zia with that late rotate. Rocket just bought so much time. He had the attention of 2 members, and Northwestern was already down numbers. You cannot commit 2 people to one of the players when you're trying to retake against time, Dan.
Not only that, but I mean, even if they had the time, they were still losing the gunfights. That's the problem. Over dedication to a single member, you leave the Jet to do that, and while they're completing that notion, you push elsewhere and try the pincer with CT. Rolling Thunder will be thrown in. It hits nothing but thin air because both players were occupying the long position, and now they're trying to over-dedicate themselves while finding very little with it. Long will leave an empty space if they want to try and play around that lockdown. Judge will find damage. They still have the Blaze Storm, but Takumi finds 2! He goes ski shooting and readjusts down below. A double from the breach, and an important one to say the very least, but it's still a round that can be recovered by Northwestern.
Oh man, Takumi there pulling out the double headshots there, saying this is what it looks like when you have aim skill. Finds both picks there in a huge turnaround. But look, they're not aware of Dinosaurs on this flank. Dinosaurs gets the backstab. Now they have this crossfire here, but they still have to try and defuse. Time is ticking against them. It is a 2v2. Fall line is going to come out. Doesn't get the stun onto VDubs. EP finds 1 from the shadows to reposition. Can they do it in time? They do, but it's not planning for him.
Dinosauce has faked it though. That's the problem. The swing through has made more than enough noise, but Dinosauce, because he took so long, ended up not winning that. I don't know when the timing is for when you use from the shadows versus when your body moves from the position you're currently in. I don't know if you can be shot from that scenario before you get out. Either way, I don't know how in the world Dinosauce didn't find the kill before EP was out. He was definitely in the line of sight. I just don't know when the timing is for when your actual shootable body ends up moving out of position.
I think it's about halfway on that casting bar. You're still able to be shot.
He should have killed him. Anyway, it's a round victory for UIC Blaze. They close at the half 8-4, as honestly expected on that attacking side of Haven. But their composition should be more than good enough for the defense. It's just a question of whether the double duelist is good enough to get in quickly enough, because you don't have that second initiator like we saw from UIC Blaze. Yeah,
you just don't have fault line. You don't have the flashpoint, so you're only relying on a recon dart or an arrow drone, and then the aim of Zia and their race player, which I think they've been doing pretty well on those shots there. They do have this B take real quick. Zia's gonna try and push into Takumi, and Takumi's gonna just fall back, try to play life, wait for the rest of the team for that retake. Meanwhile, though, Dinosauce with this late flank watch.
We've seen this before when they're saving, but still not cleared. First shot missed. They give an opportunity for Mojo to find that refrag, and they do. But there's Z1A taking the reposition that they were so nicely given by the remaining players. And still, it's a lack of time remaining. Last dark cover will be thrown on top of the spike rather than in the middle of the mid position. And the paint shells thrown in will force everybody away. EP will die to the final paint shell that goes off, but the stick's still there. Zia will shut it down regardless, and I don't think there's any time remaining for Rocket. And they'll end up dying through a wall, and ends up being a one-way on top of the spike anyway to close things out. Important pistol round victory for Northwestern to bring it back.
Yeah, well done. It started with the double duelist, and it ends with the double duelist. Zia and Akiyama just going straight in there, not afraid to take those fights. So yeah, you don't have the breach, you don't have the stun, you don't have the flash, but what you do have to deal with is two of the fastest moving agents in the game diving on you.
So what's the adjustment? Obviously questions for Northwestern. What do they do now that they have better weaponry, or at least arguably better weaponry? The answer seems to be rush. At least as of right now, they are sending it on towards the seaside, but both teams are honestly rushing. Dinosauce only goes 1-for-1 with the Spectre, hands over an SMG, and gives at least an arguable shot for UIC to bring this back, especially with the smoke up towards Garage. This is now an opportunity, at least for a redirection for UIC.
Yeah. See, Takumi, though, is going to have this 1v1 against V-Dubs. V-Dubs finds the pick with the Stinger to bring the numbers back into their favor. They still have the weapons advantage, and Psycho Pomp's going to look to get aggressive on this top Garage, with luckily Akiyama there to trade it out, and all of a sudden it's just Mojo left in the 1v3. Will find the first. Now the 1v2 gets the Guardian for the one-tap potential. It's going to have to swing onto two members now. Time not on their side. V-Dubs finds a ton of damage there, and now it's just going to be Zia spraying through with the Vandal, finds the pick, and they do close out the anti-eagle round.
So the problem is for Northwestern, we've seen this story before. Win pistol, win conversion, and then forget to win any more rounds. You can see it on the scoreboard timeline. They lost 6 in a row, which would give CGC UIC Blaze 14 if they won 6 in a row now, or 13 because you can't get 14. At least not if you go to OT, or not unless you go to OT. But it's still a scenario of whether Northwestern can find that stabilization. They've had difficulties with equal or lesser weaponry, and here they don't have anywhere near equal weaponry. They have a Guardian, a Vandal, 2 Sheriffs, and a Stinger. That is bad.
And then we're going to see if Z1A can make anything with that Hero Vandal on this bonus round. They opt to go for that B push, which would put their short-range weapons in an advantage now. We are going to see CGC just trying to play that retake here. EP already has the Paranoia in hand, ready to initiate for that double pinch setup. As you can see, they're going to retake from both sides of B, leaving B main completely in control of Northwestern. Bakken gets 1, gets 2.
And out of midair, finds a second onto Akiyama, and the tuck into the corner of Pit is just waiting. Zia has to stick there because there's so many players extending outside of mid. Even while not directly taking from mid, they've retaken that same position. And with lesser weaponry, Northwestern have done a hell of a lot of damage. Hello, 4 players dying, 3 of them after the round. I don't know what that all chat is. Smoke top D. I don't know. Somebody just missed it apparently, but nonetheless. UIC Blaze with better weaponry ended up winning, but keeping less players alive, ironically enough, at the end of it.
Yeah, and are going to be forced into an equal round, but I think as the defense, you take as many rounds as you can, even if you have to lose all of your players. So 9-6, this should give Northwestern an opportunity to pull up 7, but they maintain this 3-point lead from CGC.
They keep their distance. 6-9 scoreline. At least nice for UIC to keep for the time being. Pun intended. But Northwestern still playing patient. Nothing changed too much from their point of view. And I like that decision. Nothing has to change, at least not early on. This is also our first real look from them with full weaponry, equal weaponry, our first full gun round on their attacking side. And what the heck is UIC doing over towards A? They have one player in the zip code of A site, and that is their Sova waiting in CT spawn, playing a pixel angle towards second default. This is weird.
Looks like perhaps a gamble stack coming out from the garage area. But this is going to be a Z1A, a free push onto that site. No flash needed, just a cloud burst and a dash. They'll get the plant down. It will be a 5v5 retake, but the weapons advantage is completely in favor of Northwestern.
We've seen this song and dance before, though. 5v5 retake on the A site, flank being set up around through mid. This is usually the Killjoy that does so as well. The fact is, however, they don't have any utility on the site to deny the take, nor the defuse should it come through. But it may very well pay off more enough for that flank to come in, and it doesn't even have to. Zia finds 3 from hell, and Dino Sauce is sitting here like, what the heck did I set this up for? I suppose you guys could do it, but I had such a good flank just for it to not mean anything. In the end, Northwestern still win.
Yeah. Bringing the rounds just a little bit closer, and this is going to be an equal round coming out from the side of CGC, so they do have a chance to convert this anti-equal, bringing themselves closer to a tie. I wonder what the play is going to come from CGC. You are on a equal round. Are you going to try that gamble stack that you just tried? But it looks like instead it will be a fault line into a Kiro dash with that shorty up out of garage. And that might have been the right read.
Killjoy will be seen, but they don't know Kiro's here. At least, they may not have noted it thus far. Shorty could swing here, does it? And yes, it does. Opening kill, and a dash away. Kiro gets out with his life, and an opening kill.
Yeah, Northwestern is going to be looking to protect that rifle at all costs, making sure that Kiro can't come back out. So what this does is Northwestern is going to waste a lot of time here just trying to hold that rifle. You're going to see Dinosaurs trying to juggle that out. Dark Cloud to come down just to see if they can pick up that rifle, but jig is up. They know they've juggled it out of there. But look at this map control already from Mojo 1. If they don't clear him, Northwestern is in a world of trouble.
Even with just a classic, you can still do more than enough damage close range. Do they clear it quickly enough? A Sheriff out for Akiyama, but it seems like they will clear the position. 2 separate players headshot, though. That's honestly good enough for that scenario, and there's still 2 players rotating over in through A already. They're getting aggressive, and there's Kiro with yet another opening with the Sheriff and Hair Shorty, in hand. Dino Sauce ends up finding 2, make it 3. Their bot ended up finding a kill in mid because a low HP Killjoy walked into it, and EP's now in a 1 versus 3. He'll use the Shrouded Step to get into his own dark cover and has that frenzy out, but he'll then use the Shrouded Step to go straight in the line of sight of Psycho Pump, and Northwestern bring it to within 1.
He tried to bring the Omen dance, but danced right in the hands of Psycho Pump. It was a cute attempt, double Shroud Step, just to try and see what they can do, but not a bad eco round, I think, coming out from the side of CGC, able to convert 2 kills. And that should bring Kiro into a glass op scenario. Now, this might not be something that Northwestern is expecting on a round like this, but luckily for them, they are not pushing into the operator this time as they opt to go for C.
Here's the call. The Omen patiently waiting in the far corner of the site and has been seen. This is going to be a problem for EP. They will be cleared out of position. They will, however, use Shrouded Step to reposition to the back of site, and they'll use it again to get out. Actually, they use it to try and get in towards the back corner again, and the Showstopper lands onto Rockin'. Just like that, you see it a 5v3, and challenges awry for UIC Blaze.
Oh, man. EP trying to get a little too cute with those side steps, and it doesn't work out for the second time in a row. And this is a big round to lose. If you're CGC, this is your bye round after going through 2 basically equal rounds. One was a broken round, the last round was an equal round. And now if you lose this, you will give up the lead that you'd have. So saving here does hurt, but it is still the right play in my opinion, Dan.
I don't hate it. I've seen worse calls. Attack me. I don't think they will survive here, though. If they do,
Ooh.
it's a miracle. They've already found 2. Make
what?
it 3. What a shot from Takmi multiple times over.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh.
Make it 4. Oh my goodness, this guy's not done. You know,
Oh.
when you find a 4K in a round that you save 3 players over,
Yep.
I'm going to agree with whoever just typed impact
Yep.
in chat. They are very nice shots, but they are not impact frags. You still lose the round by a country mile.
Yeah, and I mean, Northwestern still got that legacy money there. I mean, they've been carrying over cash from the first round. Look at all of the members after buying still so many members near that 5K mark. So good damage coming out from Takmi, but luckily Northwestern still have more than enough funds to reinvest back into this round.
They have the opportunity. Rolling Thunder. No, it's just the fault line being prepped in towards short. But they want to try and get aggressive, but Fury
Wow.
will try to do so. Surprisingly avoids the first shot from the Hunter's Fury and will somehow get away. No, he doesn't. B-Dubs is a knower. He's got the kill. 25 HP left over for the Jet was not going to keep them alive for long. I didn't think it was only going to be about 5 seconds.
Yeah, V-Dubs there. True to the ability named Fury of the Hunter, hunting down Hero there. They lose the operator. EP should be able to pick it up, but not exactly the agent that you want on the op. They're going to try and fall back here and play this a retake. Looks like Northwestern maybe second guessing themselves on this hit, reading the rotations coming out from the defense and decide to just back up and explore other areas of the map.
You should run.
The lockdown being invested, but from what we can see, Dan,
They're
it
going
is
the
a
other way.
fake.
They are faking everything, and it's working. The fact is, a singular ultimate has drawn over a small army to the A site, only for the C site to be completely undefended. Spike plant will go for long as a whole. Rolling Thunder in will actually deny the spike plant off the bat. This gives them an opportunity to get in, but a perfect paranoia catches 2 players and forces them all the way back. And in the meantime, look at the top corner of your screen. Dinosaurus is walking through mid. This could be a situation they bring back, but V-Dubs actually finds a 3K on the round, leaves it more than enough for Northwestern to walk away with. There's no way UIC Blaze will go for this, at least not with anything to write home about. V-Dubs will throw in the shock dart, does damage, but nothing to write the same for EP. They find a 3K, but it's still a 2v1.
Yeah, they do have time to make this work though, but they don't have the gunfight capability. Their Cycle Pump finding the kill on his counterpart, and finally Northwestern will take the lead 10-9 as a timeout is going to be called from CGC.
I like the timeout. This is a really good time.
Yep.
You leave yourself some space to work with. You leave yourself some recoverability, to say the very least. There's still a question of what do you change with the minute you're giving yourself. Obviously, still difficulties to build around. You're down around. You haven't had all that much of a shot in the second half.
Yeah.
Remember, it started 8-4 with UIC on top. Basically, it's been a 6-1 straight streak for Northwestern. And they haven't shown any signs of slowing down.
Yeah, and I think the adjustment that I want to see from CGC, maybe to try and take some more early gunfights. I mean, Takmi is going absolutely insane right now, and we saw the cohesion come out between Takmi and Kiro on that offensive half. Haven is a map that allows you to get aggressive on defense as well, so I do want to see them get these early picks that they were so good at getting at in their attacking half, Dan.
They have gotten aggressive a few times over, but thus far it's really only cost them. Zia dying in the previous round, the Hunter's Fury, we've seen them lose out on multiple opportunities down long, both C and B. I like the aggressive calls, but the problem is they're not giving themselves any sustainability around that level of aggression. Kiro is 11 and 16, looked honestly really good in the first half, and since then has gone out to lunch, or in this case, at least in Central Time, an early dinner, and forgot to come back. And just like that, they're going aggressive again, this time through B, and this time for the alarm bot to find 3 separate players, all of them for them to now be vulnerable, and just like that, the B side has been taken, with very little utility dedicated off the back.
Yeah, great read coming out from Northwestern. Suspecting some sort of aggressive push there and just opting to play together, not get isolated. They do leave Dinosaurs into that B.
The rapid CT.
Oh, that's huge!
And they have so much time to do so because they took the site so quickly and because they've developed a link control so easily. This link flank will work to near perfection. They disengage on the site. They give that flank time to solidify, and Dinosauce will find the first kill into Takumi, turning their attention back the other way. A smoke in front of both of these players as they walk in. They've made absolutely no noise, all for all of them to strike through. Hero actually finds a 3K, but cannot walk away with the round. An ace would have been required from the Jet of UIC Blaze. He's finally stepped up in this second half, but only to find inconsequential kills.
Yeah, I mean, what a call coming out from Northwestern there. It ended up being the last two duelists on that CT flank that made the difference. I mean, Kiro almost caught himself a highlight there with those 3 Bladestorm kills, and it was all up to just that surprise swing coming out from Zia and Akiyama to take down the rest of the members on CGC. I mean, beautifully done.
I'd like to see some change from CGC UIC. They've had some difficulties getting forward. I'd like to see that same level of aggression. But you know how like an A split can come through from sewers and long? I'd like to see an A split level of aggression from the defensive side. Split sewers and long. Do something similar. Maybe take from garage as well when you're going down long. It doesn't help as much, but it's still an applicable conversation. And we haven't seen that at all from them. We haven't seen variability on their defensive side. It is either go aggressive from one position or disengage entirely and maybe come back for a follow-up kill, but it hasn't always been a guarantee.
Yeah, and that was a game plan that we saw come out from Northwestern. We saw the double duelists just constantly pinching that A lobby from short and from long, and it turned out very successful for them on their rounds that they employed that tactic. So you're right. I think CGC needs to take a play out of Northwestern and try to emulate that. In fact, they have fall line. That's a free swing for Akiro every time.
We also have some updates from around the rest of the battle for the Midwest qualifiers. CGC UIC, the main team, has ended up winning their final game. Illinois Wesleyan will finish in second place at 2-1. CGC UIC, they will finish 3-0. And Indiana Tech will finish in third at 1-2, losing to both Illinois Wesleyan and CGC UIC. Unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, Illinois Tech has decided to exit stage left, and they forfeited the event. On the other side of things, in Group B, this is the battle for last and second to last place. UWxBHOP has finished 3-0 after dropping DuPage in that final game. DuPage has beaten both of these teams, but has ended up losing that final one, so they will finish in second and 2-1. Winner of this ended up 1-2, and in third place, loser ends up with an unfortunate winless streak and a last place finish.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be very interesting LAN event with that dropout. There may be a bye coming out for the top team. Doesn't really affect these two teams right here, but whoever places last will have a very difficult time, as not only are they going to have to play the second seed, but they may have to play the first seed if they beat the second seed.
Yeah, they're going to have problems. It's not going to be good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And these seeding matches on paper may not mean all that much. Yes, all of these teams are going to the event, but the conversation is still, how do you set yourself up for said event? The answer apparently with an up shot. Kiro has an opener.
There you go.
We were looking for maybe a second. He would have found it over top of the smoke, but the second smoke blooms and nothing will be found following.
Yeah, being a little more patient and safe there. I don't hate that. Right? Don't give the numbers advantage back. So now they're going to reposition the operator, as they know they're not going to try and push that C-long angle again. We are going to see Rockin's utility still online on that A site, which would buy Kiro a lot of time to push into heaven and perhaps get that swing in perfect timing. There we go.
Kiro has gone from one side of the map to the other, has run the gauntlet, the marathon, and has found both kills to open this one up, and is still occupying this position. I don't think the Owl Drone has directly noted them. It hasn't seen them either, and they will look to drop out of this smoke, surprisingly enough. They want to try and play aggressive. I like the call to not do so.
Yeah, just don't give up that operator. Even though it would be pretty difficult to retake with it, but having an extra body will help. You see the defensive lockdown come out to try and push the members off the map, but Northwestern does have the Hunter's Fury to counter it, but this is going to buy a lot of time for Takumi to take that heavy position. Rockin just goes straight in, takes down Dino Sauce, but now it's all up to Cycle Pump in the 1v4. Does have a Dark Cloud, is going to get pushed out by the Aftershock, and it's Kuro at the end who's still holding that operator, getting the final kill. We do see CGC continue their streak as they get double digits to try and turn this map around.
I really can't say I'm surprised about that finish either. That was a really clean finish for at least follow-up of UIC Blaze. They needed the recoverability, and they had it. Kiro finding both of those opening kills was just more than enough for them to walk in on. And the fact that they find such a good close to the round as well sets themselves up well for these final 3 rounds of the half. They have an opportunity. They have a good shot, but how much do they find off the back of it?
Yeah, and this is somewhat of a read coming out here, Dan. I mean, Kiro going back onto that C-long angle with the op, and that's exactly where the offense is going to be pushing. This time, though, there is an owl drone to try and push him back, and I love this. Just holding it, understanding that they do have the dash to get out of there safely. They will get pushed back by the paranoia, but Operator still online right now.
Recombos there. They don't have a tailwind to get out anymore. This is the problem. They will tuck into the corner, throw 2 separate cloudbursts on the floor, and then just jump into a set of paint shells just for EP to address elsewhere. And that Hunter's Fury, I think it's just narrowly missed towards long, but it could have found that kill, or at least extra damage on the long angle. The problem is now, it's a 2v4. Spike is down on the site, and you don't have any mid-presence whatsoever to make up for that problem. Shot almost landed for Akiyama. They want a second attempt, but they'll only do damage. Multiple problems here for UIC Blaze. They could have had a couple deaths there.
Yeah, and EP finding a shot through the smoke. Now it's just up to Akiyama. Does have the full HP, but it's 1v4. They don't have control of the spike, and honestly, I think you just save here.
Akiyama, the most patient player ever. Really can't blame him to sit in this corner. They'll swing. They'll find one. 2 players are low. This is a reasonable clutch that could very well come through. And the fact that you see where that dark cover came from makes this a possibility. Paint shells prepped, thrown in. He'll swing off the back of it, and he'll look to find EP. He will do so indeed. And they'll go in with the showstopper as well, but only to recover that spike, and they'll actually get it down in the process. Really good fake to play off of that own utility, and they'll throw it in towards the CT position just to make sure they have an opportunity to create this post plant. Re-swing towards Garage has done more damage. Both players low, but Mojo with the Operator will make it more than enough. Low HP doesn't matter when you have that one-shot potential from the waist up, and they'll finish the round victory. And a tied-up scoreline. All of regulation is a guarantee here on Haven.
Damn, my heart is one shot at this point. That was a 4v1 that ended up being an isolated fight of 2 1v1s. And there was a scenario in my head where I was like, oh man, Akiyama's going to clutch this out somehow. But thankfully, Mojo was there. Hits the off shot, tie it up. It's 11-11. This game could not be more tense right now, Dan.
It's about as close as things could get. In the end of the day, UIC Blaze have had difficulties on this defensive side, but in the last couple have started to recover. They have not had a good start. But the fact is, they called the timeout, they've had abilities to come back, and they're now looking to find it. But they still need to be able to find opening duels in doing so. Surprising Aftershock used fairly early. Zia walking straight through a Nanoswarm, takes 130 damage from it, and ends up dying to their teammates' paint shells in the process. A 3v2, but Kiro has their knife out. They may very well be caught out. And with the shorty, does about 3 damage just to run back into A main. The spike is down B. V-Dubs is in a 1 versus 2 on the site itself, and he'll die in doing so. A 1v3 for Dinosauce, spike down B, and his position is noted from earlier.
Oh man, and Dinosauce now in the 1v3, like you said, only has the Phantom in hand. Are we going to see more heroics coming out from the side of Northeastern right now? This time, I think CGC is going to play a lot smarter and not aggressively push to try and throw the round. And this should be a save this time coming out from Dinosauce.
Can't say I'm surprised. But the fact is, you are putting yourself up against the ringer.
Yep.
You are going into a final round of regulation. It may very well be the final round of this map with probably lesser than ideal scenarios. Momentum has been stolen away from you with 3 straight rounds here for UIC Blaze. The benefit is, however, both teams only have From the Shadows in terms of ultimates, which basically means nothing unless either of them end up in a clutch situation with a spike down or on the floor.
And this is, I wonder what the economy looks like for Northwestern. I think they still have enough to fully invest into this last round of regulation. If they don't, it's going to be pretty problematic.
Match point.
So what's the economy? Seems like it should be good enough to fully buy. Bulldog on the board. Everybody else has a Vandal or Phantom. That's enough. Yeah, you're okay with that. The problem is you're walking into CGC UIC Blaze, who is, let's see, nobody's really within anything of their ultimate. The closest two are each of the Jets, which have 5 of 8 towards their Blade Storms. And then you have your From the Shadows. This is going to be basically just primary utility and gunfire.
Yeah, and now they're going to be trying to push into that B site. But you see the retake position has been taken by CGC. And now they're going to collapse onto the B site. It's exactly where they've stacked too. There's about 4 players there. We always see this flank being held by Kiro with that operator on C. So they have so much information right now that they can just fully concentrate onto that B site.
Hero up out, misses the opportunity on the jump peak, but will still have the information that the Omen has swung them. Problem is, UIC Blaze already have all of C, they still occupy Garage, all of B, and they have control on A because of utility. They can dedicate more towards B and C because of that Killjoy utility, and then just retake it if they have to.
Yeah, and there's just so much time being bought by the defense. I mean, I think this is a difference of team composition right now. The Owl Drone is already down. You still have the Recon Dart, but you don't have anything to deal with Kiro on the operator. Since Kiro has bought that op up, Northwestern has not been able to push any sites because they just don't have the flashes that they can use to push the angles back. Recon Dart now for the initiation, and V-Dubs will find the first pick. They should get the plant down. V-Dubs heard what I was saying and said, I'm more than enough, as Sova Zia finds the pick as well. So now it's going to be a 2v5 retake on the side of Rockin. Never mind, a 1v5. Rockin's got to pull out the big guns if they want to clutch this out and win it. Finds the first pick onto Akiyama, but there's still 4 more angles to deal with. Maybe able to isolate one here. Swings out, but Zia to close it out. And we are going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen.
It would have been a 2v5, but Psychopomp uses their From the Shadows knowledgeably. They use it to get into CT spawn, they clear out more than enough, and they end up flanking through onto Zia, who thought they had some space to work with, but ended up, or sorry, onto Kiro, who thought they had some space to work with, but ended up not having so much. So, clean flank, clean round. Really important one because they just got onto the B site. I'm a little surprised as to how CGC UIC Blaze played that one, but I mean, hey, it's a round victory. Good enough.
Definitely buying themselves some time there. Both teams, honestly, in my opinion, evenly matched, Dan. And it's going to see who is able to be more consistent in their execution to string together those 2 rounds.
5v5. First round of OT. And this time, it's Northwestern leaving C predominantly open. They have an Alarm Bot and Nanoswarm in towards Garage. There's the turret. Nanoswarm should be popped towards main just to prevent some control being taken, but it will be held for the time being. Actually, just popped it to do very little. This is a problem for Northwestern. They've given up a lot of control for very little utility dedication, and a 5v5 retake looks more than ideal. I mean, UIC Blaze have a clear and obvious advantage.
Yeah, but a similar scenario right now for Rocket, but this time Rocket gets taken out by Zia. Quick work being made of CGC right now. It is still a 2v4 for CGC. They need to try. Mojo gets 1. They don't clear the angle. Psychopomp gets the other, but the rest of the team will clean up CGC. So Northwestern take the lead in overtime.
A quick one. Honestly, a fairly quick retake from Northwestern. Honestly, I thought UIC had an advantage. They should have had more than enough to keep Northwestern off point. They should have had preventative utility put down early, but they just didn't. You saw it was more than an open push, and you could see more than enough difficulties for UIC Blaze to manage, but Northwestern just take full advantage of it. And a walk through the park, maybe a walk through the northern part of parks, considering Northwestern's on the north side of Chicago, but that's neither here nor there. And UIC Blaze, now they have to contend with match point.
Yeah, they got to string together 3 rounds now to win this out. And then we see this attack coming from the side of Northwestern, hitting that A side, trying to avoid Kiro as they suspect Kiro off having another glass operator moment. So far, not too many information being gathered on the side of Northwestern as they try to pull back. Kiro, though, taking as much space as they possibly can on this C main angle.
We've seen them do this before, though. The problem was last time the Alarm Bot was still in the same position, and Psychopomp thinks that Kiro's in the general vicinity, but has no guarantee for that to be the case. Kiro pops the Tailwind, at least preps it, but decides just to hold on to it. I'm a little surprised about that.
Yeah, maybe perhaps expecting a swing. But the rest of the members of Northwestern are hitting that B site again, which has been so favorable for them in the last round. But this time, an aftershock there to stop the plant. EP swings out at the perfect time, finding 2. And that brings the numbers in their favor. Spike in control as well. Remaining members of Northwestern on top garage, and EP is just going crazy right now. Waking up a little bit with these shots, finds 4, and CGC are able to tie it up.
Good enough finish. UIC will tie us at 13. Second OT is indeed required, and I'm honestly a little surprised. It seemed like Northwestern had a good game plan. They just couldn't find any gunfights. EP shut them down and has now taken the mantle of top fragger. At least has more assists than Takmi down below him. But Takmi at the same time has not done a whole lot in the last few rounds. They've had some difficulties in the later stages of regulation. They really haven't stepped up through these couple rounds of OT, but granted, they have EP to make sure they are okay for the time being.
And once again, we're tied up, ladies and gentlemen. The round's getting so close. And this time, look at this aggressive position being taken by Zia, but Akiyama finding that first pick, just pushing out B main aggressively. May have been a little bit of miscommunication there from the side of CGC. Nobody watching that B main angle. So numbers advantage are now in favor of Northwestern.
An advantage isn't enough when you don't have anybody waiting on the B site, though. Tailwind in. You've used the updraft to get on top of the far boxes. I believe Akiyama has seen them, and the spray will land. They end up hitting at least one shot before falling, and they've given some space towards their Omen on the backside of the site. But the problem is, they've now been hit by the recon bolt. The swing through. Takmi will be the one to take that frag, but it's still a man advantage for Northwestern, and they have the pincer maneuver. One from C-Link, one from A-Link, and one coming up from mid, but both players patiently waiting on the backside of the site itself. Rocket has somehow avoided the first shot, but will not avoid Zia, and VDubs has enough to clear Gong. Northwestern will find their second attempt at match point in the series.
Slow, methodical retake coming out from Northwestern. I mean, they knew the positions of CGC, and instead of just isolating themselves, giving up 1v1s, they decided to just lurk up together in 3 different angles and swing all at the same time, overwhelming the final members of CGC, allowing them to take match point once again.
14-13 as it stands. Northwestern was up against the ropes in regulation and had to win to stay alive. Now, UIC Blaze have that same notion. Again, this is a fight for 3rd place in Group B. Winner of this will find their only win of the qualifier. Loser will unfortunately go home, or at least go back to their dorms/apartments winless. Not great, but could be much better should you win one of these last few rounds.
Now we're going to see this A pinch hit coming out from the side of Northwestern. It's exactly where the KJ utility has been set. The dash onto site. The flash from Takumi finds the pick onto Cycle Pump. That's a big agent to lose. Smokes are now down. Crossfire now being set as well, but Takumi is in danger. He's going to get pushed from both sides. Dinosaurs will take the kill. And Mia able to find one to even it up, so it's going to be a 3v3, Dan.
3v3 about as even as it gets in what has been our closest game of the day. Akiyama is going to stack themselves in the Tetris boxes in the far corner, but should be noted by that recon bolt. They're too close and they'll end up being shot and dropped in on, but Zia gets good enough before the paranoia land to find that follow-up kill. EP has stepped up in OT and will end up finding 3 kills as they walk in, though. 2 from CT as they swing from the connector, and the final onto the reloading Zia in the corner. 14-14. We're not done with Haven just yet.
Oh man, this guy may have been EP the entire game, but in overtime, they have sat up. No longer leaning back, climbing to the top of the leaderboard out of nowhere, Dan. I mean, this is back-to-back multi-kills coming out from EP to save these rounds and keep CGC in contention.
They're still in it. Still sticking around. EP and Takmi both stepping up in that round, by the way. EP finds 3, Takmi with 1. I believe the only one other to find a kill was Rocket earlier on. But, we're not done just yet. UIC Blaze will be back on the attacking side, and they want to dedicate themselves towards the safe site quickly, it seems. But the problem is they haven't thrown anything else anywhere else. Nobody grass, nobody C, nobody long, nobody garage, nobody mid, nobody anywhere except for A long, and for some reason, the outside of the window door.
Yeah, and Rock is gonna have to come up huge here. The alarm bot already triggered on that grass push. He's all about timing right now,
Oh, no.
and he just looks away at the worst possible moment. Zia takes advantage, but EP, again, the hero of
No
CGC right now, finding 3 teleports into that heaven area. And now they get the plant down. It's a 3v2. CGC may be able to take the lead here. Look at that sneak up into heaven, finds the pick onto it. Oh my goodness, no, ran out of bullets. Dinosaurs able to even up the numbers here. Unfortunate. But look at this position coming from both players of CGC. They're both short right now. The spike is planted for them. They do have the flashpoint, but Mojo doesn't need it. Finds the pick onto Zia, and Dinosaur's able to hit a blind shot. What is going on here, Dan? 1v1 now. Recon Dart comes out. Mojo, 9 HP. Gets the ping, decides to swing and hits the shot. Mojo clutches it out for CGC, and finally they take the lead in overtime.
I honestly thought the Dino Sauce was going to walk away with 2 separate gunfights they had no business even being included in. Imagine running up the heaven stairs, having a jump scare of EP waiting for you, and somehow still winning the fight. EP played that well originally.
Yep.
Throwing a smoke down towards the connector, making sure there was a false sense of security as they went into heaven, and not giving any sound cues away. EP didn't even reload. Ironically, and ended up being their downfall. That's a feels bad man moment, but UIC Blaze still win the round narrowly.
Yeah, and this is the game that we've been asking for all day. Close, competitive Valorant right now. Neither team giving an inch, Dan.
Our cover in. Cloudburst was from Zia as well. They want to step through this. I honestly wouldn't hate walking through this smoke here. There's only 2 players waiting on C. The other player in the general vicinity is waiting in the backside of CT for a walk through the link if it comes that way. But UIC are just disengaged. I like this call. Patience is a virtue, and it seems to be the case for the CGC squad.
And EP, here's the reloads right now. Just trying to clear these close angles. Somehow gets away with their life. Mojo there to support as well on the crossfire. So EP here was extremely lucky there. Zia, unfortunately, gets taken down, and they've lost one of their entries. Luckily, they still have another one, but the numbers advantage is back in favor of CGC.
They mostly rotated off of the safe side, though. The Killjoy had just disengaged, finally comes back, and with fairly good timing as well. Dark cover's thrown towards Heaven and towards the CT link, but they want to get aggressive. Flash is available, Recon Bolt will be as well, but Psychopomp starts spraying before the flash lands and make this back to a 4v4. The spray down from Psychopomp make it 3 for them on the round, and they have From the Shadows available. They'll use it, and they'll go back to long, get the heck out of dodge, get away from the gunfire, and try to reposition yourself to help your team. And that's exactly what's happened. And they've also planted for long as well. Mojo hops on the spike, wants to stick it through, and the dark cover-up will allow them to do so for the time being, but Akiyama ends up spraying both players straight through the same position. Will build up the showstopper, but only for it to not mean a whole lot. 4 OTs now required here on Haven.
My goodness. The Omen players on both sides of the team just stepping it up. I mean, beautiful transfer on that spray from Psychopomp to find 2 in that scenario. They also get the pick on Takmi, fully blind. So right now, these rounds could not be any closer. I mean, it seems like a split second is all it takes to swing the round, Dan.
So close yet so far for a lot of these teams.
Yeah.
It's win the first round of OT, and then you have the curse of losing the following. We're sticking around. This game can go forever, technically, but probably won't. Neo Akiyama finds the opening. V-Dub's forced back, and the fault line will land onto both Akiyama and towards that breach, or the Sova, sorry. And more importantly, they've been forced away. I think V-Dubs should be noted as still here on the site, but are they cleared? That's the real question. They've been seen, but they won't be cleared.
Yeah, the rest of the team has already rotated here. And now this crossfire being set. Takumi should find the pick there off of that aftershock. Does even up the numbers. Nope, brings the numbers back into their favor. And this is going to be all on Dino Sauce on this late flank here. Can they get there in time? But Zia holding his own. Dodges the flash, finds the first pick. Now finding themselves in a 1v2. They double swing him. They get the pick. They get the plant down. Dino Sauce now has to clutch the 1v2.
Free swing. able to shut him down, though. Valiant effort from Dinosoft that had no utility to set himself up, and more importantly, just didn't have any space to really establish that 1v2. Usually when you do that, you want to go either in towards connector quickly, or just get to heaven as fast as you can and start to slow things down a little bit. The spike, in all fairness to them, had just been planted, but it wasn't good enough. Northwestern, well, now they'll have to contend with overtime match point. Both of these teams have had 2 overtime match points, but this is UIC Blaze's 3rd match point total, because we can count back towards regulation.
Man, this is a banger of a matchup that we have right now. We're going to see Northwestern this time going for the glass operator on attack. Immediately gets punished by Kiro Thubbs to trade that out, but Mojo also there. So numbers advantage in favor of CGC. EP finds another one. It's just going to be 2 people left on the side of Northwestern as they try to tie this up once again. Can the heroics come out, Dan?
Through. They've gained full A control. This becomes possible. Unfortunately, Z has just been nearsighted because of that paranoia, and they're going to walk in. Do they clear the close corner? No, the timing. A 1v4 now required. We've seen clutch potential from both Omens thus far. I don't know if this is going to be one of those occasions. Good usage of the Shrouded Step. What they do is they use it on both occasions to get in and then get back out towards short. But the Nanostorm will force them out to the open. They'll spray for one. An opportunity for a second as they'll be re-swung with a knife, and EP will end up being the one to close it. The knife, ever so poetically, sealing this one off as CGC UIC Blaze will get their 1 win they were looking for. It just took a hell of a lot of rounds to do so. 32 on Haven to win 17-15.
And I mean, I think it's obvious that that was the closest matchup that we've seen in the day going. Well, I can't even count how many overtime that was. But I think it's not even just the score. It was just the play styles from both teams. They just worked so well against each other. The double duelists, being that double dive composition, was so difficult for CGC to deal with. But on the other side, that tried and true flash and dash combo coming out from Takumi and Kiro was just too much for Northwestern to handle. And in the end, I truly think that the lack of a breach on the side of Northwestern really cost them, because it allowed Kiro to really pull ahead once they brought out that operator in regulation. There was just nothing that Northwestern could do against it.
17-15, the final score here. EP finishes with 30 kills, and their 30th is a knife kill, just to make it a poetic ending. 1.4 KD, one of 2 players on their team with above a 1.0. Surprisingly enough, on the Northwestern side, 3 of them ended up having above a 1.0, but a lot of them were, we'll say, impactless frags. Similar for Takumi, honestly. They had a lot of difficulties finding impactful frags in the earlier stages. Some of them were exits, some of them were mid-round, I suppose, kills that didn't lead into round victories. It was again a conversation of chaos, but one that UIC took handedly, and round victory.
Yeah, and great showing coming out from both teams. Yes, this was to determine who would be 3rd or 4th place, but both teams left their hearts on the server, playing as hard as they possibly could. Honestly, I saw so much more cohesion coming out from the side of CGC. Being their second game today, I really think that they do still have a chance in the LAN event, even though they've only gotten 1 win. On the side of Northwestern, you have some powerhouse players. I mean, those double duelists really did their job, being aggressive every time. Defense, offense, it didn't matter. They were there taking space. So I don't think either of these teams are to be slept on.
No, not in the slightest. And importantly enough, it was a clean finish, and one that UIC needed in those final 2 rounds of OT. They closed it out, they came away with a win, and they will head to the LAN, but in all fairness, so will all 8 of the teams from this weekend's qualifier. Speaking of the LAN, by the way, in about 3 weeks' time or so, the first weekend of November is at least part 1 of the LAN. Overwatch will be Saturday the 3rd, and Valorant will be Sunday Overwatch will be Saturday the 4th. Valorant will be Sunday the 5th. And League of Legends, not only with qualifiers next Saturday, will also have the LAN the following Saturday as well, November 11th. So keep an eye on all of those dates. Keep an eye on the Twitters of both Revolution Gaming and Kaiju Corp as well. We thank you very much for sticking with us, and we hope you join us for either League of Legends qualifiers next weekend or the LAN in just 3 weeks' time. No matter when we see you, we hope to see you soon.